would be out of reach. I had heard about life insurance through Ethos and how easy it was to get coverage. They were right. I knew it was time to stop putting it off and get life insurance right now. I got on my computer and went to ethoslife.com. In just 10 minutes, I was covered. And boom, family protected. Thanks to Ethos, my family won't have to worry about the bills if the unpredictable happens to me.
Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's GETETHOS.com.
Keeler Show today. It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started. It's time to get things started. On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Man, I realize it's wonderful sleeping weather, but it is stinking cool out there right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's even, I'll tell you, even when we were in the low 50s, I was still, and I don't know the actual temp that my air conditioner cranks out, but it would say, you know, you can set the temperature for, essentially, you could turn it down to 60 degrees. It's just a box unit you put in the window, you know?
Sure, yeah.
But it would be, you know, it would say it was 52 degrees outside going back a couple weeks. And then, you know, I'd have the window open and be like, I'm hot in here. I'd put the air on and set it for 60, and it would be chilly. So I don't know. That's an odd thing. I don't know if it had to do with humidity or what. But now with this, you know, it's like I can't leave the windows cracked because I wake up with my teeth chattering.
And you listen, I do believe it's easier when sleeping to cover up and warm up than it is to be hot, and so this is that time of year.
As I always say, I have to have a blanket around me, and I like to appreciate the blanket. Otherwise, I'm warm.
Okay, so I have a personal story that I'll start with here this morning, and I remember getting into this with. It was right about the time, I think, that my daughter was graduating high school. We found this app where everybody downloads it. So you download it, your kid downloads it, and you're able to see what speed they're driving when they're driving in their car.
Oh, yeah.
You know where they are at, where they last were, when, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And I remember somebody saying, what is wrong? You guys are paranoid. What are you doing? You know, that's so invasive. And I remember saying, here's why it's not invasive. Because while we can see her, she can see us. Like, I'll get a text message, and it'll be, does Mom know you're at the casino? You know, something like that. And my answer is, well, of course she does. She has the app. So here is the scary thing that happened last night. I get and this has never happened before. So on this app, and I think there's a subscription we pay. I don't even know what we pay for this. But on the app, there is all sorts of things. Like you'll get an alert. You can, let's say you're in a parking lot and there's somebody following you. You can hit a button and it'll alert everybody, tell where exactly you are with GPS, and all of your family would know. So we not only have my daughter on here, we have my parents on this app. We have my my son on the app. The only one that's not is my son, who's way out there in Denver. So last night at around midnight, we get a phone call, and my wife is like, "Don't answer it. It's spam." I'm like, "I don't know. It's midnight. I don't know why there would be." And what is spam, by the way? I think the first thing I said is I was sleeping. I woke up to that. What is spam? Spam is something you get in your email, not a phone call.
Yeah, but
I know what she's saying.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I think we should check and see. So I took her phone, and while I was getting her voicemail, my phone rang, same phone number.
Now you know something.
Something's going on. My son was in a car accident.
Oh, no, Bill.
He's okay. Everything's all right. But this happened at around midnight, and it is amazing that this out-of-state company called and said, we want you to know there was a hard break, and our software has detected what we believe is an automobile accident. We believe that so-and-so, your son, was in an automobile accident. And sure enough, it was absolutely correct.
Wow.
So we quickly called my son, and he was on the side of the road with police, and there was an automobile accident.
That is wild.
Isn't it?
I can't believe they know that. So let me ask you.
They knew, and they didn't report it. It's not like my son reported it. It was based on what seemed, according to their algorithm, like an impact, and it was.
Yeah, and how fast he was traveling, and you talked about the hard break.
You go from the hard break, you go from doing 55 to 0, and then it shows where the car actually rolled back. You can see it right on the map.
Wow.
So a scary moment for us last night. But having the app alerted us immediately. It was within 5 minutes of the accident.
Okay, so now
By the way, I called the number, and a live person answered, and they said,
That's
yes,
what I was gonna
it's
ask.
showing that he was in an accident, and it told us where, and you could see right on the app.
I was wondering if it was an automated. We have detected.
It was not automated, but she was clearly, I forget where the area code, but was not from around here.
And then let me ask as well, you said everything's good. Before we get messages and people start asking, again, the name of this product that you're using?
It is, I don't know, we just call it 365. Life 360, I'm sorry.
Life 360.
Yeah.
All right. It's free or you pay for it?
I think there's a free version, and I think you can pay extra. I think like the crash detection and stuff like that, you probably pay it's an annual fee or a subscription. I don't know.
I would imagine, too, if they have live people there, they've got to make their money some way.
But here's the other part of this. So, for the people, and they know who they are, that were like, I'm sorry, you're going too far keeping track of where your daughter is. We do not do that. It's not about that. It's like if there's an issue, you would know. And if there became an issue, you would be able to go back and see where they last pinged, et cetera, et cetera. So to me, I feel like it's it could be a safe app for keeping track of where your husband was last or your wife was last or whatever in case there's a problem. It's not about eavesdropping and trying to figure out where everybody's going.
Well,
Although, unless it's for them and they're looking at where I'm going, like, why is he there?
Yeah.
But midnight last night, I get a call from my daughter. She said, I think Benjamin was in a car accident. And she also got the same phone call and got an alert. Everybody within the group got it.
To be honest with you, I understand the people who maybe.
I understand. Yeah, I probably wouldn't.
We say this with AI. It's good intention, but
someone's watching you.
But people are going to use it for bad things, right? And this is well intentioned. I mean, you could use it to spy on a loved one or to.
And to be honest with you, I think.
Honey, you were going to the grocery store. I see you stopped at the gas station. Why did you do that?
I think both my wife and I check the app every once in a while, like. Somebody's supposed to be home. Where are they? Oh, they're on their way. Let me finish dinner. I think that is probably done. For us, it works. It might not work for everybody else, but last night we learned where the importance of this thing, and I just could not believe that they were able to detect that just by having an app on your phone.
That is quite incredible.
Yeah, right? Okay.
I'm glad everybody's all right. I know that's a tough thing.
You had those scary few moments, right?
Were you able to talk to him right after?
Yeah.
So you weren't like up all night, like what happened?
Well, then you're awake, right?
Right.
Now
you are
you're
awake,
trying
though,
to figure out how do I get back to sleep. But listen, it is what it is. The story yesterday, KTV was in the courtroom in Oneida County. Family and friends of 30-year-old Martha Staring filled an Oneida County courtroom Wednesday, wearing pins bearing her picture for the sentencing of Alex Cluse. You remember this story? They had left the hockey game.
Mm-hmm. This was what, like Thanksgiving Eve?
This was around November. Yeah, December 12th.
I'm sorry. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I'm referencing the KTV story, but I think it was November. Anyway, it was back at that time. So they're on their way home from the game, and it seems like an argument must have ensued. According to the DA's office, she opened the door and jumped out of the car. According to the DA's office, he kept driving and didn't report it. So, boy, I have such I struggle with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the KTV story talks about the fact that the family of Martha Staring was in the courtroom for sentencing yesterday. And here's one of the quotes from Staring's sister. She was pretty and smart and witty and funny, and she loved to a fault, and she didn't deserve this. She didn't deserve to spend her last conscious hours alone on a strange street in the cold and in the dark. No one does. Pretty powerful words, right?
Yeah.
So apparently, Cluse actually spoke back to her. She said, "My birthday was December 12th. You know what I did December 12th, 2022? I walked my sister's body to the operating room, and I gave her away. I didn't walk her down the aisle. I believe it was December 12th. I walked her to the operating room where she gave life to other people. She must have donated organs. And that's great, but she should be here," she said. "Do not speak any negative, any falseness about her, any more stories about her. The second thing is to get help, because if Martha was here today, that's what she would ask you to do, get real help." He then spoke back to her, and he said, "I work in therapy every week. I will not give up. I will live for Martha. I will do what you ask of me," he said. He has been sentenced to 5 years probation, the first 6 months of which are to be spent on house arrest, 100 days of community service, and a fine.
This was a plea deal or a trial?
I forget how that went down, but we did speak with the DA, if you recall.
Yeah.
And the problem here, the only crime you have, although there is an ethical crime, right? The ethical part of this is, how could you leave her lying there in the road? But the crime is leaving the scene of an accident. And I believe he pleaded guilty to leaving the scene. I think that's what it was. So 5 years probation, first 6 months of which are to be spent in house arrest. Fair? I'm not sure that people will say it's fair, but it's the law, and it's the most, I believe, that the DA's office was able to come up with.
Boy, I don't even know where to begin on this one. No, I don't think it's fair either way, to be honest with you. I don't think it's fair for Martha or her family. There seems to be a lot of unanswered questions, and I'll just say that if
sadly, he is the only one that could tell the story as to what happened, right?
And I'll say this, like I say, on both sides. If it is true that there was an argument and she got out and he was just angry and left, and apparently didn't realize the severity of the injury and thought, okay, I'm just going to let her go walk it off or whatever. The fact that he faces 5 years probation and 6 months house arrest isn't fair either.
Well,
if that's what happened to me, I would be like, why do I have to be locked in my house?
I do not think by any means his reaction to this would lead anyone to believe that's what happened.
Well,
it seems like she got out of a moving vehicle, and I don't know if you've ever done this before, if you've ever gotten out even when a vehicle is like moving at a slow speed, you lose. You'll go to the ground.
Yeah.
So anyway, I find it to be a horrific story that he's going to have to live with the rest of his life. But, sadly, she doesn't have the life to live at this point.
Yeah, this is an awful story.
It's just a terrible, terrible story.
And they're young, too, right? Like mid to late 20s, something like that?
30-year-olds.
Well, still, that's young.
29, 30.
This is an awful story. In fact, we'll talk with Oneida County DA Scott McNamara later this morning. His thoughts.
He'll be on after 7 o'clock. Yesterday in studio at this time, and we're going to replay some of his interview, Jeff Lynch, the security guard, who was shot at that football game. I heard from so many people through the day yesterday saying, I can't believe he's out and walking around after being shot in the head. And it just was it seems like it was the perfect scenario where the bullet entered the back of the head and exited without causing any severe or fatal damage.
If I'm not mistaken, you can see the exit wound in his earlobe. You can see it.
Is that where it came out?
I think that's what it is. It almost looks like he's got almost had a piercing there. But I know in photos that I had seen after he was released, you could see a little bit of still some dried blood there, and now it's darker now. But it's for that to happen on Saturday, and I think by Tuesday afternoon, possibly
he was out. Yeah,
2 days. Yeah, 2 days. Yeah. So he was out, and he said he's still dealing with the effects of a concussion that he suffered in the incident. But, it's great. And he's impressive in his own right, after going through that.
I love his approach to this, saying, and he's right. He was so right when talking about how important it is to reach these kids before they become the teenagers who are hanging with a gang or who knows what.
Yeah.
You got to reach them before, or it could be almost too late by the time, they're hanging with the wrong crowd and they're involved in a gang or what have you. So, but he's hoping that this bullet, the way he described it, that this bullet, while it was doing very, very much harm, how it may symbolize the opportunity to make things better for kids and for students over there.
Yeah.
And maybe it might touch someone who says, you know what, I'm going down the wrong path. I've got to change things. So I like his optimism.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree. Glad he didn't suffer any major or serious injuries. But, again, we'll play back some of that interview later this morning. You can also find that on our YouTube page, on your YouTube page.
There is in your pizzeria, your favorite pizzeria might have this. There's a story up on our website, and it's here. I ask why. I don't understand it, but pumpkin spice chicken wings.
Ugh.
I just don't know.
I was waiting for what it was going to be. I could feel it coming. It was pumpkin spice. Yeah.
Here's a pizzeria saying it's back. Let's give them pumpkin to talk about. Pumpkin spice chicken wings. They're back for the season. I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I've never had one. I will tell you there are some interesting flavors and tastes out there that people have made that I've been like, yeah, that's not going to taste good. And then you taste it and you're like, well, you know what? That's not bad. I just don't see it. Give me a barbecue medium mix. Give me an everything sauce. Give me honey mustard. Give me garlic and a little bit of hot.
So many flavors you can run with. Yeah,
I'm not sampling the pumpkin spice wings.
Yesterday, I don't know if you watched any of it, but it was heated all day long. Depending on which side of the political aisle you're on, you probably picked sides here. House Judiciary Committee hearing grilled Attorney General Merrick Garland on the weaponization of the Department of Justice. He claims there is none. They claim there is. So there are witnesses to support that claim. There are witnesses that dispute that claim. And then Garland said it doesn't exist. It's not true. Ryan Schmelz from Fox News Radio on the line right now. Ryan, what's your take from yesterday? It got heated at times.
Yes, and I think maybe the take from yesterday is I don't think we were too shocked by anything that happened. You saw Republicans really go after Merrick Garland and try to see if there's any type of evidence that Merrick Garland or the Attorney General had any type of communication with President Biden when it comes to the investigation into his son Hunter, and Garland denied it when he was asked that question. Now, whether or not there was anything newsworthy that came out of this, I think that still is a question. That's something that a lot of our analysts here at Fox were kind of saying. Yes, obviously, whenever you have a hearing like this, there's going to be a lot of social media moments that happen, but whether or not there was anything groundbreaking that Garland revealed or that lawmakers got out of him is kind of a question.
You know, I find that here's the world we live in today. If you're someone who could shoplift, you think everybody shoplifts. If you're someone who follows the law to the T, if you're told you are not allowed to speak with this person or this person on this issue because it would be unethical, and you would secretly kind of communicate with them off to the side, then you think everybody does it. If you wouldn't, you assume that no one would do it. And I kind of think that's where we are. I feel, and I know this is going to anger many Republicans, but I feel like Merrick Garland is a choir boy. He's the guy that always did stuff to the T, that to the annoyance of everyone else and his classmates. But maybe he did have a conversation. But we walk out of this yesterday. I think you're right. I don't think we know any more than we did the day before.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that because there was one congressman who kind of said that I believe he was talking about, his decision to appoint David Weiss as special counsel. And David Weiss was the prosecutor who was overseeing the Hunter Biden investigation, and technically he still is overseeing it. He was also the prosecutor who led to that deal, the plea deal, that a lot of Republicans felt was a sweetheart deal. So the one of the members of Congress says to Garland, well, your decision to appoint him is either incompetence or it's corruption. And then we had Thomas Massey on the Ingram angle yesterday where he was kind of like, well, and they were kind of talking in Ingram pointed this out, like, well, he wouldn't be incompetent. This is a guy who had an amazing legal career and was one of the reasons why President Obama wanted to appoint him to the Supreme Court. So, yes, Garland's record is definitely, a very fine legal record. But, a lot of people are questioning, are you doing the bidding of the Biden administration? But Garland denied that when he was asked that. Or
are you, there's incompetence. Or there's a devious approach. But here's another one. Is it if you're naive, are you incompetent? I think that's another element that this could be. But at the same time, it is true that the average person in a situation like this probably would not have the books thrown at them. However, you look at somebody like, and I know this has nothing to do with a weapon, but Martha Stewart with tax insider information. There are people that walk free every single day, but it's almost as if they made an example of her, and Martha Stewart went to prison. So I don't believe the legal system, if anybody says the legal system is fair, it is not. And I do think most Americans feel that if you are privileged in some way, and you'd have to say Hunter Biden is privileged, that you receive special treatment when it comes to the law.
Yeah. And I think in Garland's case, he's trying to make the point that, look, I'm not overseeing this case. I've washed my hands clean of this. I've given David Weiss full authority to make whatever prosecutorial decisions he wants to, and I'm not trying to interfere. Now, of course, there are those whistleblower testimonies that said the Department of Justice was either slow walking or interfering with the initial investigation into Hunter Biden. But, Weiss as well as Garland have denied that. And I think, too, like going off of what you said, and this is probably not related to the testimony yesterday. I think that what you said is an important case where appointing judges matters. The Department of Justice doesn't have full authority over every single judge that's in the legal system. These folks get appointed, and then in many ways they're there for a significant amount of time or even life. So, that kind of falls on who you're electing president. And I think, over the last two presidential elections, the Supreme Court as well as other judges at different lower court levels have been a major political factor that they may not have been before. So I think that's something we need to keep in mind is that, judges are different in every single jurisdiction. Some like to throw the book at people. Some may be a little more lenient.
Yeah. It certainly was must-see TV yesterday.
Well, I don't think we were shocked by that part.
No, I don't think we were. All right, Ryan, thank you as always. We appreciate it. Ryan Schmelz, have a wonderful day.
Have a good one, guys. Thank you.
Interesting stuff. I watched a good part of that yesterday.
I did see some
And
highlights
by the way,
of it. Yeah.
And by the way, Jim Jordan's sleeves were rolled up, wearing the tie, like a blue shirt. I forget if it was a blue shirt or not. I can't remember, but jacket off, sleeves rolled up, and he was on fire.
So, something. My take on Merrick Garland again, and I don't know him or know anything about him, and I couldn't tell you any legal cases he's done. My take on him is very similar to yours. He does strike me as I'm not skeptical of him like most Republicans who think he's corrupt and they hate him. I just haven't seen that. I don't get that from him. I don't think he, quote, gives off that vibe, I guess, for lack of a better term. I will say this, though. I think it was is it Gates? Maybe Gates was asking this question. Maybe it was Jim Jordan who said basically, did anybody from the Justice Department tell the White House, knock it off? Your son is under investigation. You're parading him around at state dinners. You're taking him to meet with ambassadors. Like, why are you doing this? He's in photo ops. He's in Air Force One. Like, this investigation's going on. Why all of a sudden is he, like, under your arm like your favorite pet or something? And
Well, it's his kid, but you're president of the United States. I mean,
and he's under an investigation.
Right,
that looks bad.
You got to do better than this.
And it's not investigation for, like, I don't know. Right, there's the IRS for not paying money and stuff, but the allegation behind it is that essentially he's selling access to his father. So every time he goes to a meeting, I think it just looks terrible.
And I don't think there's any doubt that there's evidence that that's what he was doing.
Right.
He was using his father's clout to gain money.
Correct.
The big question here is, was Biden on the take? Was the then vice president on the take? Take it for what it is. I don't know.
The whole
but
painting
I don't think
thing
we.
too.
I don't think we learned anything out of yesterday.
Correct.
Except for it was a riveting program to watch. That's how I saw it.
Jimmy Fallon had a hilarious take on this yesterday. I don't remember exactly how he worded it, but essentially it comes down to, and you can fill in the blanks, a guy who never was known for any artistic ability, didn't go to any artistic school. All of a sudden he paints, and he sells his paintings for $500,000, and everybody wants to buy them.
Yeah.
Go figure.
By the way, speaking of Jimmy Fallon, coming to the Stanley Theater on November 11th, Veterans Day. You can get tickets by going to Ticketmaster.com. And there are still great seats that you could pick up. This is going to be an amazing show along with Kennedy, formerly of MTV and Fox News Fox Business Channel, and also from River Hills Properties. If you'd like to buy hero tickets, I spoke with somebody just the other day who bought 4 tickets, and so you could buy 1, you could buy 2, you could buy 4, you could buy whatever you want. And say these are hero tickets. You have to buy them at the Stanley box office. Mention hero tickets, and whether you're on the phone or in person at the box office, they will set these aside. We'll use veterans organizations locally to distribute those tickets, and veterans who might not be able to afford to go to a show like this will get the tickets on you. Hero tickets for Jimmy Fallon Veterans Day through the Stanley box office. Again, tickets available for the general public at Ticketmaster.com.
I know many people in our audience have been to Fat Cats when he had been in town multiple times for shows, and obviously those
This
shows.
is a different deal. This is more of a this is a theater setup and or an arena type setup. Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool.
I just want so those people know him. They've seen his act. If you didn't get a chance to attend one of those shows. It's not purely political. Jimmy's going to make you laugh, and you're going to agree with him, on a lot of issues related to things that we were talking about this morning and things, whether it's Trump and Biden and other things going on. But he also gets into pop culture. A lot of his comedy is about real life stuff, family life. He's got a son who's almost a teenager now.
Who often comes to the show.
He's really hilarious. He's a great guy overall,
and
too.
The one thing you learn is he's a stand-up comic. He is incredibly funny, and
it's not all political. For those who think that. Some of it is, and it's good stuff, but it's not all 100% politics.
You'll also learn that Davey is his best friend, right, Davey?
Yes.
He is one of my friends, not my one of my best friends.
One of them, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Here's Roger. Hi, Roger. Good morning.
Good morning. Just applying some common sense on this Garland appointment. You're looking at a guy that'll let 2 charges lapse, 2 very serious charges lapse. Then he negotiates a sweetheart deal. and you're going to turn around and make him the special counsel, he's prejudiced. It's obvious he has the prejudice. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see how it all plays out. But I realize that's the argument. That was a big argument yesterday, saying, why this guy, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He has to have some influence from above to carry out the 2 dismissed cases of tax fraud and then the sweetheart deal. There's no way a DA is going to negotiate those things by himself. No way.
Well, the other option is that again, I kind of feel like because it's the president's son and because there's an addiction involved, I do think there's going to be some sympathy, whether Joe Biden or Garland or anybody asks for it or not. And but again, this is going to play out. Ultimately, I hope these bank records that supposedly exist come out, and we get a definite answer, a definitive answer once and for all.
Yeah, we need it.
There's no doubt about it.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. All right, Roger. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
All right, Roger. I don't know if you realized it.
What?
You and I agree on this. Wow.
Yes, we do.
That's a shocker. All right, I got a break. We'll come back. Hold tight. Much more to get to here. And as Manansky mentioned, we'll speak with the district attorney coming up next hour. Also, this morning, Mark DePerno is in from Citron, and they have coming up the Citron Riggy Run, Walk, and Riggy Fest. And I'm here to tell you all, Davey, are you prepared?
Okay. I'm prepared anything that goes on around here on this show.
Of course. There are Riggies coming into the studio for us to sample.
Oh, wow.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, let me tell you, that gets people rolling, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We'll hear more on the security guard, Jeff Lynch, later on this morning. John Decker is on. Mayoral candidate Bob Cardillo is on this morning. Hobica's free money question this morning at 7:35-ish will be worth $400 this morning. And I had a gift of a question yesterday. A gift.
I'm shocked.
Wayne was so close.
He was.
All right, we'll break, and we'll come back at 6:50. Yeah.
And his son knew the answer.
His son knew the answer. He should have listened to his son. 6:52 at WIBX.
It's truck season at Steep Ponte Chevrolet. If you're in the market for a truck that's like new but don't want to break the bank, stop into Steep Ponte Chevrolet and choose from over 25 certified pre-owned trucks. Test drive a 2022 Chevrolet Silverado Crew Cab 4-wheel drive with only 14,000 miles, or a 2023 Chevrolet Tahoe LS 4-wheel drive with 29,000 miles. With GM certification, you'll get a 6-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty and an additional 1-year bumper-to-bumper limited warranty. At Steep Ponte Chevrolet, you can find new roads and save. You'll drive with confidence knowing your vehicle is covered. Visit us online anytime at SteepPonteChevy.com to browse our complete inventory. Steep Ponte Chevrolet, Route 28 in Herkimer. Stop by and see why it's always easy to do business at Steep Ponte Chevrolet, your family-owned and operated dealership.
All taxes and fees due on delivery. Must take delivery by September 30th, 2023.
Hi, this is Rob Hilton of Hilton Estate and Elder Law with important information that you should know about planning for nursing home care.
Well, the best way, of course, is to plan ahead. The key is to make sure that you make decisions far ahead of the time that you need a nursing home. Getting the basic pieces in place, including power of attorney, healthcare proxy, will, trust, all those things, and working closely with your family to make sure you're organized and ready to go in case the worst happens.
You should also know there are strategies you can employ even if you currently have a loved one in a nursing home.
When there's a crisis and someone's entered a nursing home, there are things we can do to act very quickly to protect some of the assets. It really does require that an elder law attorney be involved because the techniques that are used are very technical in nature.
To find out more about strategies to protect your loved ones through proper estate planning, contact us at Hilton Estate and Elder Law. Call for more information and to schedule an in-person meeting to answer your questions.
Hilton, you know the name, they know the law. Hilton Estate and Elder Law.
Nature is bringing out her fall colors, and the show is on throughout Herkimer County. Enjoy kaleidoscope colors on country roads from the Mohawk Valley to the Adirondack Mountains in Herkimer County, the Experience County. Welcoming communities and colorful fall festivals, Herkimer County has it all. Book your stay now and put some color in your life. Plan your visit online at visitherkimercounty.com. Herkimer County. I love New York.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, busy Thursday morning, and boy, we have some pretty decent weather over the course of the next, upper 60s, lower 70s, maybe mid 70s at times. Not all that bad. Some decent weather on the way for the next few days.
Absolutely,
Okay
I'll take it. And
yesterday was really, really nice.
And we're supposed to get a similar day today, and tomorrow I think a few more clouds, but it's going to be mostly sunny. And again, this changes.
Maybe a little rain over the weekend, but as of right now, you're right. It changes so often.
Yeah.
So did you see the military is looking for a fighter jet?
Well, didn't they find it? I thought they found the wreckage.
Well, there's a guy that says he found it, but I don't know that did they find it?
I thought they found the wreckage in the Carolinas. I'm glad you mentioned this. I wanted to bring this up the other day. Keep this in mind. You talked about, I don't know.
It is. You're right. It has been found in South Carolina.
Life 360 or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Okay. Within minutes, your son may have been involved in an accident. Your daughter knows, hey, Dad, you're at the casino. Does Mom know you're there? We lost a fighter jet.
And couldn't find it.
Are you kidding me?
I know. It's the craziest thing. So by now you've heard of the F-35 stealth fighter jet. I mean, really stealth. Fighter jet that the Marines lost and then found in South Carolina. Now it's time to hear from an eyewitness. This is the guy I was seeing from yesterday who said, I heard a boom. Randolph White, who heard the jet as it went down. This interview is with WBTW in Myrtle Beach. This is what he has to say.
I was in the bathroom taking a shave, and I heard a screeching, between a screech and a whistle. I said, what in the world is this? And I heard a boom. Then my whole house shook. Did a meteorite come out of space or something? And I said, well, if it's an airplane, it needed to be reported. That thing was flying just too low. Choppers keep flying around. I said, well, somebody must have robbed the bank or whatever. Just through the grace of God, nobody didn't get hurt. Anything man-made can malfunction. But it needs to be investigated, and the public needs to know what really happened.
Yeah.
It could have been a major disaster.
I got to tell you, that's the cousin of James Brown, Randolph White. It isn't, but what if Randolph White actually had some music put to that little news clip?
Interesting.
I mean, that would be something, wouldn't it?
That's awesome.
Here's one. Here's another one. I'm just saying.
He does have a really good voice. I'll tell you what, though, that one of the things that stuck with me is like I think in New York City, this is where I've heard it before. They'll say, I'm standing on line. You're not in line, you're online. And what he said was, I was in the bathroom taking a shave. taking a
I
shave.
was about ready to hit the
dump button. Yeah.
Well, no pun intended. Yeah. So, wow. Isn't that something? Well, you know what? Listen, we need a little bit of that in order to make the world go round. You know why? Because the rent's too damn high.
Yeah.
The rent is too damn high.
I love
Remember
when
that guy.
I love sometimes when the news folks get out there, especially in rural areas or any part of the country, and somebody has a really funny take or reenactment of whatever it might have been, and
there
get
you
one
go.
of these like every year or two.
There you go, with music put to it. Okay, coming up next hour, it's our Hobica free money question of the day. And here on Thursday, the current jackpot is
$400.
$400
Listen
on the line.
to what you hear on the show today. It could put some money in your pocket.
And we have those numbers where you could put more money in your pocket, up ultimately $30,000. We'll have that coming up just after 8 o'clock. WIBX Utica Rome. It's 7 o'clock.
President Biden gives some mayors what they've been asking for. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Nearly 500,000 Venezuelans are getting temporary protected status, which mayors in cities overcrowded by a surge in migrants say will let them work legally. Here's Fox's Jill Nato.
The Department of Homeland Security has said the expansion of protected status for Venezuelans was needed because of Venezuela's increased instability and lack of safety. About 472,000 in the U.S. on or before July 31st are
Now, many more migrants keep coming.
One of the biggest mass illegal crossings we have ever seen during our coverage of the southern border.
Fox's Bill Malugin in Eagle Pass, Texas.
Many of them telling us they're from Venezuela. All of them telling us they arrived in northern Mexico via train. Thousands of them all at once.
Russia hit Ukraine with a bombardment of missiles overnight, doing damage in numerous cities, including the capital, Kyiv, killing at least 2 people in Kherson. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky asking for more air defense from our allies after spending 2 days at the UN wanting Russia punished for its invasion. He's in Washington this morning asking Congress to approve more military aid. Republican Senator Josh Hawley tells Fox,
"We shouldn't be spending a dime more on Ukraine. We need an accounting of every dime that has been spent so far."
President Biden will give more assistance to Ukraine, meeting with President Zelensky later today. Former President Trump will like this. Big leads in 2 new Fox Business polls and 2 early contest states.
46% of GOP primary voters in South Carolina back former President Donald Trump as the 2024 presidential nominee, followed by former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley at 18%.
The former president also at 46% in Iowa.
Followed by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis at 15%. But Haley at 11%, more than double the support she had in the summer.
That's Fox's Kristen Goodwin. America's listening to Fox News.
All right, this just in. Pure Talk just added more 5G data to every plan and is now including a mobile hotspot with no price increase at all whatsoever. Just $20 a month for unlimited talk, unlimited text, and now 50% more 5G data, plus you get mobile hotspot. Start saving today. Go to puretalk.com, enter the promo code Sean, S-E-A-N, to make the switch to Pure Talk, and you do it now, you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. That's puretalk.com, promo code Sean.
Born from the tragedy of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is committed to helping our nation's heroes and their families in their darkest hours. They provide mortgage-free homes for fallen first responder families, Gold Star families, and catastrophically injured veterans and first responders. In 2023, they are providing housing assistance and services to more than 2,000 of America's homeless veterans. Do good and never forget 9/11 or the sacrifices made by our nation's heroes. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
We have a few clouds, 45 degrees. WIBX News Time is 7:03. Good morning, I'm Jeff Manaski. This news update is brought to you by Home and Hospital Medical Supplies and Service, carrying a wide selection of home medical equipment. Call them at 315-724-6767 and online at hnhmedicalny.com. One person in critical condition after being shot in a vehicle on the 1500 block of Dudley Street in Utica. Dudley Ave in Utica. Police say they were made aware of the incident after a 911 call stating the victim was en route to St. Elizabeth Medical Center. The male victim suffered a gunshot wound in his back and had to undergo surgery after arriving at the emergency room. The shooting occurred shortly before 1:30 yesterday afternoon. Cops say the vehicle was being shot at when the injury occurred. The Utica Police Department's Major Crimes Unit is investigating the shooting and are asking for tips in the case. You may want to check the cheese slices in your refrigerator after the latest recall issued by Kraft Heinz this week. The company announced a voluntary recall of more than 83,000 cases of individually wrapped Kraft Singles American processed cheese slices. Kraft Heinz said in a press release on Tuesday that a wrapping machine recently experienced an issue that may cause a thin strip of film to remain on slices after they are unwrapped. You can read more on that story at WIBX950.com. Siena College will officially be inaugurating Dr. Chuck Seifert as the school's new president today. An inauguration ceremony is set for 3 p.m. Dr. Seifert assumed the new role back in June after taking over for Chris Gibson. He retired in May after 3 years on the job. Seifert is the 13th president in the school's history. Testimony is scheduled to resume today in the murder trial of Jacob Klein. Yesterday, the jury saw graphic images of the crime scene where Klein allegedly killed Philip Rabati last year. The victim's body was discovered in the garage of his New Scotland home by his father and wife. Klein was later taken into custody in Virginia. He could end up spending the rest of his life in prison if he is convicted. And police in Oneida asking for the public's help finding this week's Crime Stoppers Most Wanted Person of the Week. We'll give you more information on the Crime Stoppers Most Wanted Person of the Week coming up later this hour. You can also find that information right now at WIBX950.com. A chilly start. We have clouds, 44 degrees. WIBX News Time is 7:06. Here's what we can expect later today from Eyewitness News.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, bright sunshine, gorgeous in the afternoon, but a chilly morning. Temperatures in the upper 30s, patchy frost across the countryside. Afternoon high 70 to 75. Tonight, clear sky, cool, near 45. And on Friday, generally sunny, mild, near 75. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. Meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
All right, in sports, Thursday Night Football, Week 3 of the NFL season kicks off tonight. You can hear the game right here on WIBX 950. The Giants head out west to take on the San Francisco 49ers. They will be without Saquon Barkley. He's been ruled out of action tonight because of that ankle injury suffered in the win over the Cardinals last weekend. Head coach Brian Daboll had hinted this week that the 26-year-old might play against the Niners, calling him a quick healer, but he will not. And the Giants will also be without starting left tackle Andrew Thomas for tonight's game as well. Coverage of the game begins at 7:30. The Jets made a pair of practice squad moves yesterday, Gang Green signing wide receiver Irvin Charles and releasing defensive lineman Tanzel Smart. Also in the NFL, the Rams are trading away their former starting running back. L.A. agreed to send Cam Akers to the Vikings in exchange for a 2026 conditional sixth-round draft pick. The Rams will also send Minnesota a 2026 conditional pick for the seventh round. Akers had started Week 1 for the Rams and rushed for 29 yards and a touchdown. The 24-year-old was a healthy scratch for Week 2 in a decision that was called being made in the best interest of the team. Akers joins a Vikings backfield that is led by Alexander Madison.
Can I just ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
Do you think it's a better trade for the Vikings or the Rams? And is Cam Akers better than Devin Cook?
Delvin Cook? I don't know that Cam Akers is better than Delvin Cook. I don't think so. And I think the Vikings maybe needed to bolster that backfield a little bit. However, I find it interesting that the Rams, a capable, quick, talented running back, they benched him. He was a healthy scratch last week. Certainly that's a locker room issue written all over it, and they opted to trade him away. The Cleveland Browns are welcoming back a familiar face. ESPN says Kareem Hunt has signed a deal to return to the Browns' backfield, a one-year deal worth $4 million. Of course, the move comes after Nick Chubb suffered a season-ending knee injury on Monday Night Football this week against the Steelers. Cleveland recently announced that Jerome Ford would take over the starting duties, but Hunt is expected to get plenty of touches in Chubb's absence. Baseball, I skipped baseball. The Mets picked up a victory. Kodai Senga got his 12th win of the season. The Mets hit 4 home runs in their 8-3 victory over the Marlins. 2 of them off the bat of Mark Vientos. Brett Beatty and Brandon Nimmo went deep last night as well. The Mets are 10 games under 500. They open up a 4-game series in Philadelphia tonight. What are we down to, 10 games for these teams? 71 and 81. Yeah, exactly 10 games left for the Mets and exactly 10 games left for the Yankees, who have now lost 3 straight games. They lost to the Blue Jays 6-1. Michael King took the loss. The Yankees even 500, 76 and 76. As I mentioned, they also have 10 games to play. It is 7:09. First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX 950 AM and 106.9 FM. And be sure to stay tuned. A $400 free money question of the day is coming up later this hour on WIBX.
Home and Hospital Medical Supply in the New Hartford Shopping Center proudly carries a wide selection of home medical equipment. Lift chairs to buy or rent, canes, crutches, walkers, powered scooters, braces, foot care products, and so much more. And if for some reason they don't carry the product you need, they'll custom order it at no extra charge. Mary and her experienced team are there to assist you Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or call them 315-724-6767 and online at HNHMedicalNY.com. Home and Hospital Medical Supplies, we make life easier.
It's hosting season, and Ashley has everything you need at Central New York's newest furniture and mattress store, Ashley, on the River Road in the Marcy Town Plaza in Marcy. Get your home hosting ready for company with guest-approved essentials like a 92-inch Ashley sofa for just $10 a month or $4.99, or a 72-inch 6-drawer table and 4 chairs just $15 a month or $7.99, or a 5-piece antique white queen bedroom for just $19 a month or $9.99. And Ashley Hybrid Queen mattresses are just $6 a month or only $2.99. Plus, we offer special no-interest financing options for every budget with up to 5 years interest-free. And right now, you can save on accessories store-wide to finish every look, from minor refreshes to total overhauls. Ashley has the items needed to make your home functional, fabulous, and friends and family ready. Experience the joy of home suite hosting with help from Ashley. In-store only at the Marcy Town Plaza on River Road in Marcy. Stop in today.
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
this is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Flu season could be a doozy, but Kinney Drugs is all stocked up with this year's vaccines. Protect yourself and your family from the flu monster. Ages 2 and up in New York, 3 and up in Vermont. Schedule your annual flu shot at KinneyDrugs.com.
Stop into Mattress Express in New Hartford on Commercial Drive next to Pet Supplies. Plus, simply do a comfort test on our mattresses and get a $25 prepaid Visa card. Names like the Number Bed by Instant Comfort, Tempur-Pedic, Purple, Sealy, and more. Hurry, this is a limited time offer.
Attention business owners, this is John Souza, CEO of ERTC.com. The Employee Retention Tax Credit Program provides up to $26,000 per W-2 employee. If you're confused about the program, stop right now before it's too late. Don't fall for false promises and risk your business. All ERTC companies are not the same. The bottom line, there's no such thing as guaranteed eligibility, and being innovative with tax filings can lead to an audit. At ERTC.com, we won't mislead you to attest to your own eligibility. At ERTC.com, everything is done in-house by expert CPAs, and there's no cost to get started. With the ERTC.com Fast Track Refund Program, you may qualify to get your refund in as soon as 48 hours. Get started today at ERTC.com.
Get your free refund information now. 800-200-4230. 800-200-4230. That's 800-200-4230.
On behalf of IBEW Local 43 Union Electricians and the NECA Contractors, we are pleased to partner with Syracuse University in providing our members with an opportunity to enhance their education at this great university.
Syracuse University's partnership with the IBEW will provide talented students the opportunity to advance their careers while shaping the future of the electrical trades and the industries they serve.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Hey, if you're dealing with a neck pain or back pain, we have an answer for you. It's the Omni Surgery Center with Dr. Hyder. My dad was there and had just debilitating back pain. And the injections, so it was non-invasive. These were injections, and they would pinpoint where the pain was being caused, and it ultimately eliminated the pain. That, in combination with all the other things he was doing, it was nothing short of a miracle. You can have that same experience. Obviously, everyone's experience is different, but this takes a shot, literally no pun intended, at getting rid of the pain. You don't have to live with the pain. Omni Surgery Center with Dr. Hyder. They have an office in the Business Park, and the Surgery Center is on French Road. Call 315-765-8448 for an appointment. And again, the website is killpain.com. The Omni Surgery Center with Dr. Hyder. We say nothing short of a miracle, where modern technology meets cutting-edge surgery. They have a procedure, too. What happens different times is where you're trying to figure out where your back pain is coming from. So in the spine, by the way, I know nothing about this, but this is just, I'm repeating what I was told, that there become these little bone fragments that are floating around, and that ends up causing, from time to time, terrible pain in your discs and your back. I'm sure I've got this partially wrong, but the gist of it is they go in and actually there's a very low invasive procedure where they can go in and remove those bone fragments and eliminate your pain. I mean, there's all sorts of things they do when it comes to managing that back, neck, shoulder pain that people are forced to live with today. It's the Omni Surgery Center with Dr. Hyder. Killpain.com is the website. You know, you've had your back pain.
Yeah, and it's debilitating. It was literally crippling, and I was in my mid-20s. I had slipped 2 discs, and I was walking with a limp there for a while. And in my particular case, I had let the injury heal, and it was a whole thing with what's my little upside-down machine, the inversion table.
Yeah,
which did wonders for me.
The death table is what I call it. My first week here, which was did I start here in 2013? I believe it was January of 2013. So this is the completion of
a decade.
Yeah.
It wasn't really, because I thought it was more years than that. But okay, well, let's say that. But whatever it was, you had been.
So I'm now finishing my 11th year. I was just counting it on my fingers.
In anticipation of your start after the first, or whenever we were going to get going.
I was
you
here.
Came to the Christmas party.
I came to the Christmas party the day before I started on the air. So one would say, "Oh, did you have too much to drink?" No, nothing like that at all. I, at the end of the night, was leaving with my wife, and the DJ was trying to get a speaker down, and I'm like, "Oh, let me help." And being with my height, I'm reaching up high, leaning in, and it hurt my lower back. Earlier in the day, I had helped someone move a TV
that also caused pain in my back. So on Monday, I was in pain.
Yeah.
No worries. Tuesday, I was in more pain. Let me go to the chiropractor. It got to the point. I went on Wednesday to a chiropractor in the Valley. I was put on a TENS unit, and you just felt the pain traveling. The minute those electrical currents were going through my back, you felt that pain going right down my leg. And now I'm barely walking out. By Thursday, it was bad. By Friday, it was horrific. And Jeff, I'm leading you up to your story, Jeff had a wonderful idea.
Well, I was going to put you on what we did put you on the inversion table because, again, it was like a miracle thing for me. I had seen multiple ads about it, and I said, this doesn't work. And then finally I did it, and that night I had so much relief because it literally, again, I think the area around the injury had healed. When we put you on the inversion table, as an
there
expert,
was an injury.
There was an injury, so it was like stretching and kind of making it worse.
So Friday morning, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I called Jeff and I said, I don't think I can get in.
And I said, you're kidding me. Now
That's
listen,
exactly what he said to me.
You're
kidding me. This is your first week, Bill. This is your first week.
You have to understand, though. I apologize, but you have to understand. I had corporate on my back.
You also didn't know me.
I didn't know you. I had corporate like, look, you can't say this. You got to worry about this and all this other stuff. So I was panicked about that. Then the fact that we were launching this show and there was a lot of excitement and anticipation around it. And it's like, okay, we're in week 1 and he's not coming in. And number 3 to that was, as a guy who had done things like the Mayor Hanna resignation. I mean, you had done a lot of stunts and wild things. I'm like, he's setting us up. He's looking to embarrass this heritage, 90-something-year-old station. He's screwing with us. He didn't hurt his back. Turns out you actually did.
So I'll never forget how this went down. I mean, we're reminiscing back almost 11 years ago now. So I said, all right, I'll come in, but I am in so much pain. So Jeff's like, no worries. I brought the inversion table in. It's like, okay. So around 7 o'clock, we work it out. I get on the inversion table and and it starts to feel a little bit good, but then I feel the pain get worse and worse. So now I get down and I can barely walk. So I can't sit, so I'm standing, and I'm doing an interview with Carl Palladino, Western New York. And in the middle of the interview, I just went down to the ground. It was I couldn't stand.
Yeah.
It was terrible. So after that, I remember Bill McAdams walking by and looking in and just shaking his head. Bill is down, literally on the floor. So the interview continues. Everything goes. The day ends. It got worse and worse through the day. By evening, I could not walk. And I went to see chiropractor Adam Ellis, who made a late-night call for me. My daughter and my wife helped walk me into this. They ended up taking me over to the emergency room where I received some shots. And for the next 3.5 months, I couldn't drive for at the very least. I couldn't drive for a month. Could not drive.
Yeah, I remember your father-in-law was bringing you in
every morning and then picking me up after the show, which I liked because it got me out early.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting over here rolling my eyes going, this guy's laying it on thick.
Oh, yeah. Well,
goodness.
And I have to say, this all started with talking about Dr. Hyder. So I have to say, though, that when someone has a back problem, we give them the eye roll.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, you look fine. Give me a break.
Just stand up straight. You'll be fine.
Yeah,
It's your posture. You
know what you got to do? You got to stretch that out. You got to stretch it out more. So, but unless you're living with that and you're experiencing each situation is so different and the severity of the pain is so different unless you're experiencing it. And I imagine probably some people are weaker-minded than others, right?
Yeah.
But I just feel that You don't know how debilitating back pain can be until it takes you out. And I witnessed it with my dad over the course of this year, since November last year. But he's doing much better now. By the way, I do have to say, my parents today are celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary.
Really?
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Yep.
Mr. and Mrs. Keeler.
So that's a long time.
It's a very long time. Your parents are awesome. I really like them.
I was rolling my eyes at 25 during my my recent anniversary with my wife. But let's see. Mike this morning says, I remember walking into the studio as a guest the first week you were starting work and having to step over you as you were lying on the floor. That's funny.
And again,
I made a mistake. I misread that. That's actually Tim Reed from the Boilermaker, formerly the Boilermaker. Tim Reed.
So
and Tim, literally, I'm on the floor. He remembers it well.
When I had injured my back again, mid-20s, it was so bad. At one point they prescribed me medicine that they give. What does Michael J. Fox have?
It's
not MS. Parkinson's. They were giving me a medicine that they give to people with Parkinson's because they were trying to protect this nerve that I was.
And you're young, all right? You're young at this time.
I had to take like one pill a day. You had to build up. I had to take one pill a day for 4 days, then 2 pills a day for 4 days, and 3 pills a day for 4 days. Anyway, and again, this was before you worked here. In my office, I would lay on the ground on a double stacked body pillow and kind of work face down on a laptop. It was difficult. I totally understand people when you have back pain. It is extremely debilitating. Excuse me.
It's still, even though you've had the back pain, you have this feeling that you have these super abilities because you got through it. Now you're lifting things. You're doing stuff. You're walking normally, and you look at the other person like, really, is it that bad? Are you kind of capitalizing on this thing a little bit? But the reality is, no one should ever do that to someone. If they say it's back pain, you kind of have to trust them. And one more. Jeff says it wasn't that long ago. Well, it was, Jeff. I mean, it was 11 years ago. It wasn't that long ago, but I think both you and Jeff, when you started working together, you both had hair.
I did. I had a full head. It was a nice one, too.
You certainly still have more than I have, so by far. Scott McNamara is the district attorney in Oneida County, and we were talking earlier about the story of the sentencing of Alex Cluse in a horrific story that occurred coming up on almost a year ago, back in early December. Scott McNamara is on the line right now. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill.
So let's talk about, I heard from people yesterday, the comments, I can't believe that's all this kid got. The reality is the only crime you have here is leaving the scene of an accident, right?
Correct. The only crime that we could prove would be leaving the scene of an accident. And I've been on the show a couple times to explain it, but for the listeners that didn't hear the other broadcast, we spent a lot of time trying to figure out what took place and how she ended up in the road. And, really it boils down to we figured 3 things could have happened. She was assaulted someplace else, and he threw her there. He assaulted her in his truck and threw her there. Or she jumped out, like what his story was. Or he pushed her out. So we looked at all those possible 4 ways it could have happened. We looked at all those things, and the bottom line is there's no evidence from his vehicle, because in his vehicle, we took the electronic box out. It's like a black box for vehicles now, and the vehicle never stopped. So if the vehicle never stopped, at least that's what the evidence shows. If the vehicle never stopped, we can't prove that he stopped someplace, that he assaulted her, he hit her with something or whatever, and then stopped there and discarded her body. Because we don't even show him stopping there, which is consistent with his version of events. He claims driving down the road, she opened up the door and jumped out, and he just drove away. He never stopped. And that's exactly what his car says. So, maybe he's telling the truth. And I don't think people want to believe he's telling the truth, because what he did, most people think is morally reprehensible. He left his loved one in the middle of the road dying and drove away. And I think that bothers a lot of people. It bothers us. But we really couldn't prove anything. Obviously we suspect there was a reason he didn't stop. And, the reason they changed the leaving the scene of a personal injury accident or a serious physical injury accident to be a more severe crime is because a lot of times that's what people do when they're driving while intoxicated. But once again, we couldn't prove that because nobody gave him a breathalyzer, nobody gave him any tests. And, he did go back to the scene. We had information that he walked back to the scene. Obviously we had our suspicions, but we couldn't prove it.
Yeah.
So then it comes down to he left the scene. And, then you look at, what does everybody else get for that punishment? And, that's not a crime that typically people go to prison for. So, we did what, we thought we could. He, in his defense, he didn't fight it. He pled guilty. And initially his lawyer was, making a little talk like he was going to challenge the charge and these things. But, ultimately he pled guilty, and it's all we could prove. And maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe she did jump out.
Are you able to tell at what speed the vehicle was going when it was in that area?
We know it. I don't want to say exactly, but it was a speed between 30 and 40 miles an hour.
So if
my memory serves me correct.
And you think about, again, if you're going 30 miles, it's so easy to think, well, it's just 30 miles an hour. If you're traveling 30 miles an hour and you were to step out of a vehicle, you will immediately have impact with the pavement.
Yeah.
A better way to think of it, I tried it, because we get so used to speeds in vehicles.
Yeah.
We do it all the time, and we become accustomed to it. But the way I try to explain to people, if you're riding a bicycle at 30 miles an hour and fell off, what kind of damage do you think that's going to do to you?
Right.
When you get away from the car itself and you just start thinking, or if you were, riding, say, better than a bicycle, young people wouldn't remember this, but like roller skates.
Mm-hmm.
If you fell roller skating at 30 miles an hour, the damage it would do to you.
Yeah.
I think, if in fact that's what happened, maybe, just the way she went out of the vehicle, she just hit her head the wrong way. And, that happens. I mean, we see it all the time. I mean, we actually we were investigating a case not too long ago where it was a fight. And it was a fight, and the guy got thrown to the ground, hit his head, and he's dead. And it's like, we kept watching the video. How can that happen? But it's, unfortunately, sometimes somebody hits their head just the right way.
Well, there's the national story right now at the Patriots Miami game, where there's a fight. The guy gets punched in the head and dies. So, and it also makes you think how a split second decision can affect the rest of your life.
Right, or can end your life.
End your life. You're right.
But
we all kind of think of a punch to the head. What you're gonna, bloody nose, black eye, maybe a chipped tooth. But we in the office and in the industry, we call it the one-punch homicide, where somebody will punch somebody and either knocks them out when they fall, they hit the back of their head, or just the way they were punched kills them. And it's before I worked in a DA's office, I would have said, "Oh, you got to be kidding me! That never happens." But it happens. It probably happens once every couple of years. We have a case where we had one not too long ago, and in that case, the plea wasn't what I think the victim's family would want, but the only thing we could prove was an assault third, because he wasn't trying to hurt the guy other than to physical injury, punch him, but not kill him. But.
So, Scott, there's a question, though, about it was a truck, right? His vehicle was a truck?
Yep.
I mean, if memory
serves me correct, it's a F-150, because I have the same vehicle.
When you talk about, and I'm a big guy. I'm 6'1", 250, give or take. But a truck with someone of her size, weight, and build going 30 to 40 miles an hour to be able to open up that truck door far enough for her to get out. Isn't there even a serious question as to whether or not that's possible, that she could even do that at that speed?
Oh, you can do that.
I mean, I could open. I'm passenger. If you were driving my truck and I'm a passenger, sure, I could open my door and jump out. No problem at all. I think the bigger question is, could he have opened the door while he was driving the vehicle and somehow or another shoved her out? And that
would be harder to do.
We can't disprove that. But I got to tell you, I have that vehicle, and I would find that almost impossible to do and continue driving at the same speed and not go off the road, because there's a center console in between the two bucket seats. So it's a very long reach, and I got long arms, and I can tell you right now, I can barely reach that door when I'm, reaching across the center console to try to open it if I ever want to open it for somebody or something like that. And so I don't see that. And he didn't lose control of the vehicle, and he didn't really slow down. Once again, that's the evidence we have now. Maybe the evidence is wrong. I don't know, but we have to prove everything beyond a reasonable doubt, and that's where we're at. So,
can I also ask? I believe you mentioned that there's some question that he may have returned to the scene later, walked to the scene. Can you talk about what is known in regard to that?
Yeah, he walked back to the scene. He was at the scene when the ambulance and the EMTs were there. He walked back to the scene. He was seen at the scene.
Did he? Is he the one who called 911?
No,
he's not.
Can I also?
And he didn't. He didn't offer any information when he was there. He didn't say. That's why we charged him. I mean, it would have been a lot more complicated had he walked back to the scene and reported it, but he didn't. And I still don't. I mean, that section of the law is a little bit complicated because the whole purpose of that. When that law was initially passed, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have the technology we have today. So when somebody got into an accident and they left the scene, the other party involved had almost no remedies to identify who the person was, because we didn't have phones on. We didn't have phones on our cameras on our phones. We didn't have phones with us. That section of the law was meant to hold people accountable if we could prove that they left the scene. Today, leaving the scene, there's no need for it. You can just pull over and dial 911. Where back in the day, you didn't have a phone, and people would make the argument, I went and called, and you're supposed to give your insurance information and all that. But
can I ask one last question about this? And because I'm assuming there at some point had to be a confession saying this is what happened. I guess I would call that a confession. But so let's just picture this for a moment, and let's assume there was an argument, and she's like, I'm getting out of the car. At some point, you have to unlatch the door. You have to push the door open. You now have noise, so you now know as the driver, the car door is open. And at what point are you able to show? Because if that's me and somebody's trying to jump out of the car, I immediately do what? You slam on the brake,
stop, and try to
right.
And I think that's
and grab and try to stop the person from jumping out.
Grab their arm. If it was me, the first thing I would do is stop the vehicle.
Brake immediately. You would brake. Yes.
Yeah, you would. And obviously I think that's what is really two things. He left her, and he did nothing. If you believe his story, he didn't do what everybody else would do. And number one, you would stop or slow down as fast as you could.
Correct.
You would try to grab them, and you would know it. I'm assuming she had her seatbelt on, because if that vehicle's, if my memory serves me correct, it's F-150 Ford pickup truck, and I have and if somebody's sitting in that seat and they don't have their seatbelt on, the alarm buzzes.
Right.
So she had to be taking her seatbelt off, I'm guessing. She had to be, and I just, we do have good information that they were in an argument.
Okay. Well, I got to tell you something. I was given advice a long time ago when I was in my early 20s and was in a pretty bad relationship. I believe it might have been my parents who said, "You're in a toxic relationship. This is not going to end well. It might not be, remember, you just don't know. You can be drawn into something. It's just not going to end well. Get out of it." And Scott, of course, I wouldn't listen to my parents at that point. I went through another many years of misery. But the fact is, man, if you're in a toxic relationship, whether you're male or female, whatever what the relationship is, you are better off getting out of it because things could end very, very badly.
What was her blood alcohol? Do we know that?
I don't remember. I don't. I know she had enough alcohol in her to be intoxicated, but she wasn't the driver, so it wasn't.
But I just asked, because it would go to maybe state of mind for somebody to get out of a vehicle that's going between 30 and 40 miles an hour. It's. But anyway,
looked at it like if they're drinking together, but you can't use that evidence. Obviously, we were looking for why he would leave. Without stopping.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. So,
all right, District Attorney Scott McNamara, thank you so much. As always, terrible, horrific story, and I can't imagine yesterday was easy for anyone, and it certainly couldn't have been easy for him, having to have the family speak directly to him. That had to be very difficult.
Yeah, and you know what? He's going to have to live with this for the rest of his life, and And I hope the fact that he left her does haunt him. It should. It really should.
Yeah. Scott McNamara, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Have a great day. All right. Okay, coming up, we're going to talk about the Citroen Riggy Run, Walk, and Riggy Fest. It's going to be happening soon. I smell food in the building. Do you?
It's here. Yeah, I'm going to have Riggy's for breakfast today.
Let's do our free money question of the day, however, from the Hobico Law Firm. And it's
depending on how much they brought, I might have Riggy's for breakfast tomorrow, too.
It is worth $400 this morning from Hobico. $400. Let's go with caller number, which one this morning, Davey?
Caller number 10.
I like it.
10th caller through the lines. You have a $400 jackpot. It's call right now, 315-736-0186, 741.
Hi, it's James.
And Megan.
From the all-new Destination Kia of Utica.
Come see why people drive hundreds of miles to buy vehicles from us.
Let's talk selection. We have over 220 new Kias here and coming.
Don't forget the more than 50 certified pre-owned Kias on our lot.
Chances are, we have the Kia for you.
We're a family-owned and operated business.
And that's the way we believe in treating our customers.
And Kia's warranty is second to none.
With a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty.
And 5 years, 60,000-mile basic warranty.
We are so excited to have our grand opening in Utica.
And we look forward to seeing you soon.
Now that's kooky.
So go kooky for Kia at the all-new Destination Kia of Utica. Puppies and babies not included.
Find us online at DestinationKiaofUtica.com. That's DestinationKiaofUtica.com. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Adirondack Home Furniture is fully stocked from wall to wall with top quality, durable, American-made pieces for any room. With over 40 bedroom and dining room pieces on display and quality sofas starting at $8.99, you're sure to find the pieces to transform your home. And don't forget, Adirondack Home Furniture has more than just rustic pieces. They carry a wide variety of modern, farmhouse, and traditional styles. If you're looking to transform your home or complete a room with a few pieces, now is the time to buy. Because at Adirondack Home Furniture, you'll save the amount of the sales tax. Save the amount of the sales tax on any purchase for your living room, bedroom, office, and occasional furniture. All solid wood and American made, including in-stock items, clearance items, and even special orders. Adirondack Home Furniture has the best value and top quality furniture for your home. Visit them at the former Riverside Mall, Horatio Street, Utica, or browse the inventory online at AdirondackHomeFurniture.com.
Hi, this is Rob Hilton of Hilton Estate and Elder Law with important information that you should know regarding your estate planning. Specifically, you should have prepared what is known as the Big Three. Basic estate planning is comprised of the three main documents that you need. First is the will, next is the healthcare proxy, and last is the power of attorney. What most people don't know is how important of the three the power of attorney really is, because New York State has no simple method for you to act on another's behalf if they become incapacitated. I am often asked, what is probate and why is it needed? Probate is the act of administering the will through the New York State court system. It requires a filing fee and other actions to be taken, as well as a petition to be filed. It is time-consuming and can be expensive. It can be avoided by using a living trust. To find out more about strategies to protect your loved ones through proper estate planning, contact us at Hilton Estate and Elder Law. Call for more information and to schedule an in-person meeting to answer your questions.
Hilton, you know the name. They know the law. Hilton Estate and Elder Law.
At Consumer Cellular, you get the same exact coverage as the largest carriers, but for up to half the cost. Same thing, up to half the cost. Up to half the cost for the same thing. 50% the money for 100% the same thing. I hope I'm making myself clear. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single-line 5GB data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single-line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
But I don't want to get a flu shot.
You don't want to get the flu again. It's just a teensy little poke.
Hi, guys. I know you don't like needles, so I brought Fuzzy.
What is that?
It's a device that uses vibration and ice to help take the sting out of shots.
See, hun, that wasn't so bad.
Wait, you did it already?
Yep, Fuzzy helps. And Kinney is the only pharmacy that has him.
I'm going to tell everyone I know.
Great. They can schedule online at KinneyDrugs.com.
Hey, River Hills Properties, fastest growing real estate company in Central New York. You know, 15 years ago, nobody knew their name. There was one agent. They had just started, Bill and Robin Monjo. And I remember hearing from them. They were going to do things differently, offer services that no other agency offers in the area, and they felt that would set them apart. Now, fast forward 15 years, they're the #1 independent real estate agency in the area, and #2 when it comes to all the chains. It's River Hills Properties, and it is the services they provide. For my wife and I, when we sold our home, it was all the things that they would do, all the work that they would do for us to kind of relieve that stress level, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And for us, very important, every time the house was shown, the listing agent was there. Robin was there. People weren't meandering through our home without anybody there. We had somebody representing us, and that's the River Hills way. They offer it for anybody who sells a home. It could be a $30,000 property, and your listing agent will be there. It's River Hills Properties. Barnaville, Little Falls, and Utica. And online, it's riverhillspropertiesllc.com. Call 315-896-1009. And Jimmy Fallon coming to the Stanley Theater, Veterans Day, November 11th. Buy hero tickets through River Hills Properties at the Stanley box office. You can call the box office, or you can go to the box office, pick up a pair of tickets or a couple of pair of tickets, one ticket if you'd like. Ask for hero tickets. That ticket or tickets will be set aside and be given to a veteran to attend the Jimmy Fallon Kennedy Show at the Stanley Theater on Veterans Day. Brought to you by River Hills Properties.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, here we go. It's time for somebody to take a shot at winning our free money question of the day from the Hobeika Law Firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobeika, at 315-724-1600. And Roger is back on the line.
Yeah.
Hey, Roger, good morning.
Good morning. Be gentle now.
Listen, this is all for you. I feel like there's a big shot for you to walk away today. This is $400. We're not talking about chump change.
I know.
All right, here we go. Jeff, are you ready to go? Jeff is making his way away from the Riggies, back
Just
to the
temporarily.
computer. Coming back to the computer. And are you ready? Okay, here we go. Here is your question. Ready?
Yes.
In the 1970s, this commercial peaked at number 13 on the Billboard charts. Ready, go.
Lucky Strike. Commercial on
The Lucky Strike
cigarette.
commercial. In the 1970s, this commercial peaked at number 13 on the Billboard charts.
Wow.
I already know right now Mark DePerno knows the answer. Pull that mic right up there, Mark, and the answer is...
No idea.
Okay, all right.
Heard it through the grapevine?
No.
I was thinking of
Although,
was that the 80s?
Here's the thing. What's unique about this commercial is the commercial came first. Radio stations began getting requests. People were requesting to hear the commercial. They liked the song in the commercial so much. Davey, the answer is...
No clue.
No clue by the Seekers. You're right. No. I'd like to teach the world to sing, the Coca-Cola commercial by the Hillside Singers.
Oh, Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
My other one was going to be I ate the whole thing, but...
Wow, I can't believe I ate the whole thing. You remember that?
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff, Roger. Well,
sorry.
listen, you get the $25 gift card, the all-in-one food and fun card from Aquavino, Babe, 72, Taylor and the Cook, Adirondack Bank Center Concessions, and Nexus. Stand by. We're going to mail it to you, and Davey's going to hook you up, okay?
Thank you.
All right, Roger. Thank you.
So
Tell me that was not a good... That's a good question.
That is a good question. I thought the opposite, I think, because what you're saying is it was the commercial jingle that...
Which came first, the commercial or the song? The commercial came first.
Okay, and I think Raisin Bran, or whatever product it was, where they would play the Heard It Through the Grapevine with the little
correct.
Raisinets.
But the Grapevine...
That was a song that
Heard
came
It Through the
before
Grapevine came way long before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was what was unique about that the commercial came first. Pretty cool. Wow, what a wonderful aroma in studio here this morning. Mark DePerno is in from Citron.
I like that cologne, man. What is it? Oh, you meant the Riggies. I got you.
Coming up just around the corner is the Citron Riggy Run, Walk, and Riggy Fest. There's a 5K run, a 5K wheelchair race, a 2-mile walk, a free 1-mile kids run, and it all happens. I'm looking for the date on
the 8th, so October 8th.
October 8th. So it's just around the corner.
Right around the corner, Bill. Thanks for having me in the studio this morning. So, listen, a lot of buzz in the air, a lot of aroma in the air, as we heard a moment ago. This is the first ever Riggy Run, Walk, and Riggy Fest. All to support the Citron Military Program, which does amazing things for post 9/11 veterans at no cost whatsoever to these amazing men and women that have served our country.
So you have many restaurants involved in creating the Riggies, and it'll include taste testing, and so there's a lot going on here.
It is much more than a run and a walk. So
Yeah,
for
yeah.
those who want to run the 5K, wonderful. If you want to embark on the challenge, we do have that just at the halfway point of the 5K, eat a bowl of Riggies and carry on, right?
You got to carb up. Halfway through, you got to carb up. Yeah.
I love it. But, of course, at the end of the race and the walk is the Riggy Fest. We have 10 local eateries providing their amazing version of this famous dish in Central New York, the chicken Riggy dish, referring to Teddy's, Trackside, Pizzeria Italia, Rentrona's Bistro, who brought in some Riggies this morning, as well as 69 Steakhouse. Tony's Pizza of Washington Mills, it's a Utica thing. The Hub also have the Riggies this morning, Sodexo, and Wildcat Hospitality.
So you'll sample and then vote. Is there going to be a vote sort of thing?
There
as
is
well?
a vote.
Yeah.
There's a pretty unique trophy awarded to the winning restaurant with the most votes for the best Riggies. And again, everybody wins. Everybody has fun. Everybody gets to eat Riggies and recognize the amazing men and women from the military program.
Nice.
Talk more about that program. You talked about veterans injured after 9/11 service in the service. Are these all local folks, or do people come here for this program?
They're primarily local, but with that said, they're going to travel as far north as from Watertown, as far east as the Albany area, etc. Rochester, you know it. The ultimate goal from post 9/11, the reason that was selected as a focal point is based on the Department of Defense and the VA many years ago said there is a dire need for this younger generation, given the crises that have happened over the last 20 plus years. And while the VA does amazing things with the services they provide, Citron can offer many unique and atypical interventions that are not accustomed to the VA intervention techniques. And I'm referring to things such as aquatic therapy, biofeedback, which is an instrument that helps one better understand their triggers and stress in life, and pain management. Polarity therapy. We have Camp Citron, which has an amazing ecotherapy program just 3 miles up the road from our campus in New Hartford, all at no cost to these veterans.
We do a great job in recruiting people to get in the military and sending them off to all places around the world. But when they come home, we don't do the best job, and it's programs like these that really make a difference. This is probably one of the most amazing programs out there that exists today.
Thanks, Bill. I appreciate that. Jackie Wormuth oversees the program. We've had great history since roughly 15 plus years with this military program, as we call it at Citron, and the lives that have changed. Certainly, Jackie can speak to it face-to-face value. But bottom line is, we've had many veterans tell us that they were in dire straits, deep depression, finding an outlet, finding service connections, both civilian life and post-service connection. How do I reacclimate to life and to civilian population? Success story after success story. It's great. Yeah.
So let's talk about how someone can get involved and whether they want to be in part of the walk or the wheelchair race, the run. You can register. Costs, and how do they register?
So the cost is $30, gets you into the run or the walk, includes a beautiful T-shirt and free entry to the Riggy Fest. You can go to citronriggyrunwalk.com. For those who just want to come to the Riggy Fest, it's only a $5 entry fee. That's all the Riggies you can eat, sample from all 10 eateries, cast a vote, help us award to the best restaurant, help service members with disabilities, and it's just a beautiful campus. SUNY Poly, it's Sunday, October 8th. Registration opens at 8:30. Things really kick off at 10 a.m., and away we go.
You know what is interesting? We had the guys in from the 1983 Utica Blue Sox last week, and including the manager and one of the players was in. And they were saying, we keep hearing all this stuff about iconic foods in Utica, like these chicken Riggies. We have no idea what that is. That wasn't around when we were here, and it really wasn't. It had just, the birth of chicken Riggies came somewhere between 79 and 83, 84. So that, prior to that, Riggy's was not a thing here.
Amazing. I didn't know. Certainly I know some history regarding the area, but to think that in just 35, 40 years,
it's become this.
Amazing. So we're happy to have it as well. You don't think of eating and running, obviously, in the same sentence. But that's just why we're doing it.
Yeah.
It's unique.
Yeah, I agree. And, the one thing with the Boilermaker that I always say, get your pasta in on that Saturday night. So this certainly makes sense. Get the carbs in. So, all right. Again, the phone number is 315-737-2416. CitronRiggyRunWalk.com to register. It's $30, and the day of the event, which is not too far off, it's a $5 entry, and you get to vote on the Riggies and eat all you want.
You bet. And I got to thank the Rentrona's Bistro, 69 Steakhouse, and the Hub for providing delicious Riggies this morning. They're 3 of the 10 that will be at the Riggy Fest.
Nice. And I've got to thank them as well. Thank you. I'm into the Hub so far. Rentrona's I'm trying next. It smelled delicious. And we're gonna take care of these in here.
I always kind of feel like Riggy's very much like pizza, like other dishes that we have. Tomato pie is the same way. Depending on the restaurant you get it from, it can be almost a completely different dish. So that's the beauty of this, sampling all the different ones. Which do you like best? And I have to say, Teddy's in Rome always seems to do well in these contests.
And they will be participating in the Riggy Fest. So
Okay, all right.
Come try it
Again,
out.
Sunday, October 8th. And more information online, CitronRiggyRunWalk.com.
Mark DePerno, thank you as always.
Thanks, Bill.
And you come here with food, and man, you just come right. We just welcome you right in. It's amazing. I got a break. News is next.
When they actually upgrade your service and then don't charge you for it. This is great news for new and current Pure Talk customers. Pure Talk just added data to every single plan, and they're now including mobile hotspot with every plan and no price increase at all whatsoever. Now, if you've not made the switch yet to Pure Talk, now is the time. For $20 a month, you're going to get unlimited talk, unlimited text, and 50% more 5G data and mobile hotspot, and it's only $20 a month. Now, this is why I love Pure Talk. They use the same cell towers. They use the same exact 5G network as the big carriers, and the average family saves close to $1,000 a year from this veteran-owned company with a customer service team that will make your switch fast, simple, and easy. Just dial pound 250. Say the keyword save now. Do it now. You save an additional 50% off your first month. Pound 250, keyword save now from Pure Talk, and you won't regret it.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica, Rome, W295DI Utica, Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
We need more air defense. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky posted that online after what he called another massive Russian attack overnight. Fox's Jonathan Savage reports.
Russia targeting energy infrastructure in strikes that bring back memories of its tactics last winter. We're told 2 people were killed in the southern city of Kherson, and injuries are reported in several cities, including the capital, Kyiv.
President Zelensky spent 2 days at the UN calling for Russia to be punished. He's in Washington now. Next hour, he'll meet with House lawmakers, then senators, then President Biden in the afternoon.
As additional Ukraine funding becomes a flashpoint in a spending bill needed to prevent a government shutdown.
He's the best messenger for the people of Ukraine and his armed forces, clearly.
White House National Security Council Coordinator John Kirby says President Biden will also announce the latest security aid package for Ukraine.
Fox's Jared Halpern. Some Republicans oppose new Ukraine assistance. The Biden administration is giving nearly 500,000 Venezuelan migrants temporary protected status, allowing them to get legal work permits as many more Venezuelans and other migrants arrive.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott says he's officially declaring a, quote, invasion at our border because of Biden's policies. The governor accused the Biden administration of ordering razor wire cut along the border in order to, quote, open the floodgates to illegal immigrants. Now, officials tell Fox they've had over 45,000 encounters with migrants over the last 5 days alone.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. It's day 7 of the UAW strike.
The automakers warned about the ripple effects of this strike, and now we are seeing them. General Motors is officially idling a plant in Kansas. They've laid off around 2,000 workers there. Ford has laid off 600 workers at this plant in Michigan, and Stellantis is temporarily laying off about 70 employees in Ohio.
Fox Business Network's Grady Trimble. The union warns it could expand the spike tomorrow. America's listening to Fox News.
All right, this just in, Pure Talk just added more 5G data to every plan and is now including a mobile hotspot with no price increase at all whatsoever. Just $20 a month for unlimited talk, unlimited text, and now 50% more 5G data, plus you get mobile hotspot. Start saving today. Go to puretalk.com, enter the promo code Sean, S-E-A-N, to make the switch to Pure Talk, and you do it now, you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. That's puretalk.com, promo code Sean.
Born from the tragedy of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is committed to helping our nation's heroes and their families in their darkest hours. They provide mortgage-free homes for fallen first responder families, Gold Star families, and catastrophically injured veterans and first responders. In 2023, they are providing housing assistance and services to more than 2,000 of America's homeless veterans. Do good and never forget 9/11 or the sacrifices made by our nation's heroes. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
We have cloudy skies, 47 degrees. WIBX News Time is 8:03. This news update is brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica, located on Commercial Drive in Yorkville. One person in critical condition after being shot while in a vehicle on the 1500 block of Dudley Ave in Utica. Police say they were made aware of the incident after a 911 call stating that the vehicle was en route to St. Elizabeth Medical Center with a gunshot victim inside. The male victim suffered a wound in his back and had to undergo surgery after arriving at the emergency room. The shooting occurred shortly before 1:30 yesterday afternoon. The UPD's Major Crimes Unit is investigating and asking for tips in the case. You may want to check the refrigerator for your cheese slices. There is a recall from Kraft Heinz this week. The company announced a voluntary recall of more than 83,000 cases of individually wrapped Kraft Singles American processed cheese slices. Kraft Heinz saying in a statement that the wrapping machine recently experienced an issue which may cause a thin strip of film to remain on the slices after they are unwrapped. More information at WIBX950.com. Police in Oneida are asking for the public's help finding this week's Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers Wanted Person of the Week. He is a registered sex offender. 47-year-old Michael Burt, whose current residence is unknown, is originally from Oneida. He had a warrant issued for his arrest back in July. Burt has failed to appear in court as mandated as part of his sentence and register as a sex offender. Again, more details and a photo of this week's Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers Most Wanted Person of the Week can be found at WIBX950.com. And the Proctor security guard who was shot in the back of the head during a recent after a recent Proctor High School football game continues to recover, still dealing with some concussion symptoms. He joined the Keeler in the Morning show earlier this week. We'll hear some highlights of that interview coming up in just a few minutes. In case you missed it early yesterday, please stay tuned for that. Jeff Lynch was in here in studio on the Keeler Show. WIBX News Time is 8:06. A chilly start, some sunshine and warmth this afternoon. Here's what we can expect from Eyewitness News.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, bright sunshine, gorgeous in the afternoon, but a chilly morning. Temperatures in the upper 30s, patchy frost across the countryside. Afternoon high 70 to 75. Tonight, clear sky, cool, near 45. And on Friday, generally sunny, mild, near 75. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. Meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
And we have cloudy skies and 47 degrees. The time is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit clintontractor.net. From the IBEW Local 43 Sports Desk, no Saquon Barkley tonight for the Giants. The Giants are on the left coast taking on the San Francisco 49ers, a Thursday night football showdown. A game you can hear right here on WIBX. Our coverage begins at 7:30. Now, earlier this week, head coach Brian Daboll said it was possible that Barkley would be a go for tonight's game. He is not, though. That ankle injury has him out an estimated 3 weeks, and certainly that includes tonight's game against the 49ers. Also out for the Giants, starting left tackle Andrew Thomas and left guard Ben Bredesen. We'll see how they fare tonight against the Niners. The Jets making a pair of practice squad moves. Gangrene signed wide receiver Irvin Charles and released defensive lineman Tanzel Smart. Elsewhere around the NFL, a couple of big names making some moves. The Rams trading running back Cam Akers to the Minnesota Vikings. The Rams also send Minnesota a 2026 conditional 7th-round pick. Akers started week 1 for the Rams, rushed for 29 yards and a touchdown, but the 24-year-old was a healthy scratch for week 2. Team officials said it was in the best interest of the team that he did not play. Akers joins a Vikings backfield that is led by Alexander Madison. Elsewhere, the Cleveland Browns bringing back a familiar face, Kareem Hunt, back with the Browns, a 1-year deal worth up to $4 million. The move comes after starter Nick Chubb suffered a nasty knee injury on Monday Night Football against the Steelers. Cleveland recently announced that Jerome Ford would take over the starting duties, but Hunt is expected to get plenty of touches. He spent the last 4 seasons with the Browns, backing up Nick Chubb, and rushed for over 1,800 yards, 16 touchdowns during those 4 years in Cleveland. Baseball action last night. The Mets hit 4 homers as they beat the Marlins 8-3. Mark Vientos, 2 dingers. Brett Beatty and Brandon Nimmo went deep as well. The Mets 10 games under 500, 71 and 81. In fact, if they win the last 10 games, which is not very likely,
win out.
They finish 500, dead 500.
Okay, all right.
The Yankees currently even 500, 76 and 76. They've dropped 3 straight games. They lost 6-1 to the Blue Jays last night. Michael King took the defeat. The Yankees look to salvage the series finale against the Jays tonight in the Bronx.
Okay. Well, listen, I think the chance of the Mets and Yankees making the playoffs this year, almost zero.
I have to say, one more here. This one. The chief executive of the MSG Entertainment Corporation, which is James Dolan, he owns the Knicks and the Rangers. He recently told the New York Times, "I don't really like owning teams. And I can tell you as a fan, we don't really like when you own teams. We'd love it if you owned the rival teams. You know, like if you owned, I don't know, the Chicago Bulls, or who's a big Knicks rival? The Celtics, maybe?
Sure.
Why doesn't he go buy one of those teams? Or maybe he can buy the Braves and the Nationals. That would be cool.
That would be nice.
Yeah. James Dolan doesn't like owning teams. Yes, we can tell.
Listen, did you know you can get a credit on your taxes for making energy improvements to your home, like new windows? And the experts at New York Sash have all the information you need to take advantage with new energy rebates for this year. You can get a tax credit of 30% off the cost of new windows, up to $600. But even better than that, for a limited time, New York Sash will match your window tax credit. Install brand new, energy-efficient New York Sash brand windows in your home. Get a credit on your taxes, and New York Sash will match it. But to claim the credit on your 2023 taxes, your windows need to be installed by the end of the year, which means you should call today to get into the schedule before the time runs out. We had wonderful New York Sash windows installed in our home this year, and I'm telling you, they make all the difference in the world. They are just quality windows that are easy to use, easy to clean. They keep the cold out and the warm in as we prep for wintertime. So contact New York Sash to find out how you can get a brand new energy-efficient replacement window or windows up to $1,200 back. Restrictions may apply. Visit their showroom or call 315-624-7344 for details. Coming up, he was the security guard just a little over a week ago who was shot in the back of the head. He's out of the hospital and is in studio talking with us about exactly what happened to him and the scenario and what he wants to see happen going forward. We'll speak with Jeff Lynch coming up next on WIBX.
Hi, it's James.
And Megan.
From the all-new Destination Kia of Utica.
Come see why people drive hundreds of miles to buy vehicles from us.
Let's talk selection. We have over 220 new Kias here and coming.
Don't forget the more than 50 certified pre-owned Kias on our lot.
Chances are, we have the Kia for you.
We're a family-owned and operated business.
And that's the way we believe in treating our customers.
And Kia's warranty is second to none.
With a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty.
And 5 years, 60,000-mile basic warranty.
We are so excited to have our grand opening in Utica.
And we look forward to seeing you soon.
Now that's kooky.
So go kooky for Kia at the all-new Destination Kia of Utica. Puppies and babies not included.
Find us online at DestinationKiaofUtica.com. That's DestinationKiaofUtica.com. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Nature is bringing out her fall colors, and the show is on throughout Herkimer County. Enjoy kaleidoscope colors on country roads from the Mohawk Valley to the Adirondack Mountains in Herkimer County, the Experience County. Welcoming communities and colorful fall festivals, Herkimer County has it all. Book your stay now and put some color in your life. Plan your visit online at visitherkimercounty.com. Herkimer County, I love New York.
Call today. Heritage Logging and Tree Removal, your trusted tree removal specialist. With today's extreme weather conditions and new invasive species wreaking havoc on your trees, it's very important to call as soon as you suspect any problems to protect your valuable property and your precious loved ones. Heritage Logging is going to be there to assess your trees and give 24-hour emergency services. For all your tree care needs, call or text today 315-796-2941 or go online to heritagelogging.com and Facebook at Heritage Logging.
Hey, the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is accepting new patients right now. The area's premier osteopathic medical clinic, and that is really something to keep track of, osteopath. So osteopathy, along with modern medicine, allowing your body to assist you in the recovery, plays a huge, huge role. And there are all sorts of things that can be done, manipulated, that they do right there in the office that can assist you with whatever it is that ails you. It just works. And you combine that with medicine, and it just works so much better. Dr. Shemaleski, incredibly thorough, working for many, many years in an emergency room, and now at the Falcon Clinic, working hard to figure out whatever your issue might be. And if you're in need of a new family doctor, they're accepting patients right now. Call the Falcon Clinic, 315-507-4751. 315-507-4751. You could call today and get in soon. The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. Howard, I'll let you do the introduction here this morning. You brought in a very special guest into the studio this morning.
Yeah, definitely brought a one-of-a-kind gentleman into the show, and longtime friend, Jeff Lynch.
Jeff Lynch, you're a hero, man.
Well, I'm still having trouble with the hero status, but
I cannot imagine. I was going to say I can imagine. So, of course, Jeff, for those going back to that Proctor game, was trying to break up a fight along with other security and Utica PD, and was shot in the back of the head. It is so good to see you doing well and recovering. I can't imagine recovery is simple and easy, but it's so good to see you.
I said from the ambulance ride to where we're sitting right now, it's been best case scenario.
Yeah,
everything is. I've heard the word miracle and blessed more than any one person deserves, but the way I'm healing is almost miraculous. My worst things right now, I'm suffering from a concussion, so I have a little bit of gait and dizziness issues. But as far as wounds, the wounds are healing. I'm actually I had no staples, stitches.
Wow.
Everything's removed.
Wow.
The doctors are happy with the way we're progressing. And I'm just going to continue. I said, Howie asked me this morning, how you doing? I said, yesterday was a good day. Today's going to be a better one.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep moving. Every day is going to move forward like that.
It's a great way to look at that. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Your story is this security job is not your full-time position. This is something you took as a. I'll let you explain.
It initiated when my daughter, in around 2014, was getting ready to head to Proctor. And I said, geez, how can I get myself involved in the school? I'm not a good athlete. I couldn't get involved in any kind of coaching. I'm not the smartest guy, so I don't think I was going to get involved in any kind of teaching or counseling. Yeah. And security seemed like, hey, that's a spot where you're involved. You got the run of the building. You're able to you're plugged in. I think you're appreciated.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I signed up and I got involved in the school, and my daughter had a great 4 years of high school. I made really good friends. I saw a community within the school district that looks out for each other, that looks out. So that was it. It started off maybe a somewhat selfish idea, but it's been rewarding. I like kids. I like when somebody asks you a question. If you can get a 16-year-old to come up and ask you for any kind of advice about, hey, how would you handle this, or what should I do here? And that's
pretty
success.
big.
That's a success.
Yeah. Manaski, I want to just before your question, the fact that everybody wore was it red and black? Red and black, not just at Proctor, not just in Utica schools, but school districts throughout the region. Everywhere. For you. There was a camaraderie around you. It was incredible.
That's a challenge that I have to the community as a whole. Multiple school districts were represented. Everybody chose the color. They chose the Proctor black and red. Let's substitute that now going forward. Let's take the colors out of it and just be everybody that was involved in that. Let's work on positive change towards the school districts, towards children in whole. Let's continue it. That day was a visual. If we could take that visual and let the visual kind of subside a little
Yeah,
bit, but
yeah.
have that many people involved in our children, our children's futures, that would be awesome.
It certainly would be. Jeff, if you could fix the focus on that, and then I'll slide you in first. Howard, what do you want, Pete? What do you want to accomplish here? Obviously, bringing Jeff in today is something huge for this community. The fact that they can see him and he's doing well is a great end to a really tough story.
110%. I mean, we all know that I've been an advocate along with several others in the community to focus on safety, security, education within our district. Last year we had a child stabbed. We had multiple fights at the beginning of the school year, during the school year. There's ways to fix and improve these situations. And first and foremost, I've said it time and time again, our newer school board cannot be held accountable for 13 years of how the district used to run. And they've done a complete 180, but they can only do so much so fast. And it's going to take the community and the outside of our politics, whether it's our local government, to get involved and help support this change to turn the ship faster.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hoping to see happen. Us take this serious, work as a team, learn from what this man just had to endure, his family and our community, and let's be the change we've been talking about.
It was amazing, too, which I do think is happening. I do feel that way. I feel like the county, the city, police, the school district, everybody seems to be working together to say, how do we prevent this from happening again? Because, Jeff, I think you would agree, you were just talking about this camaraderie, this community at Proctor, at the school. All it takes, though, is a couple of bad eggs and who've been misguided and doing something stupid, and this happens.
That's what we talk about, the bad egg, and I've been asked the question several times, the young man that did this, what are my intentions towards him? How do I feel? I honestly believe when you're at the point of holding a gun and pulling the trigger, I think at that point you've been lost.
Yeah.
But 5 years prior to that is where the catch had to be made. And we talk about the cracks, falling through the cracks. The first cracks are small, and then they just get bigger and bigger. And at this point, this was a crack that...
You're so correct with that, it does seem that the loss comes when they're just in those very vulnerable years, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then by the time they're 16, 17 years old, it's I don't want to say it's too late, but it's the damage has been done.
I think on the public safety issue of it, by that point, if you're that far gone, you're a risk to the whole, public at whole.
To be able to take a gun, now from what we understand, and maybe you were turned, obviously you had your back to him, from what we understand, it was just pointing into a crowd, and you were the one that got hit.
Basically, I take some comfort in the fact that I don't believe I was the intended target.
Right.
So that's makes things a little bit easier to deal with. But to point a gun, I know anybody that goes out to a range, I could go to the range and I could go through a box of shells and I look at what I've shot and I say, geez, I'm not very good. But to take somebody that has a gun in their hand and has maybe never fired it, doesn't know how the gun handles or operates, and to point it in any direction and pull the trigger, what ifs? I mean, we talk about the what ifs, and this story could have been 100 times worse.
Oh, it really, really could have. I have a call. Oh, let Jeff.
I just want to, as this is all unfolding, the day of the game, there's some kids fighting, right? Do you see the weapons in their hands? Are you aware of the danger that you could be in? And then what is your thought process if you see all that unfolding? What are you trying to do? Just separate them?
We did, security at the beginning of the fight, we were highly outnumbered. So my position was basically textbook crowd control, hands open, non-aggressive, just trying to move, trying to shift the crowd. Between security, if I could move a crowd in one direction, say to the left, and another security could move people to the right, you're able to isolate the incidents more and usually put it to a stop. This all happened very quickly. Weapons, if I told you the truth, I never heard the gunshots.
Did you feel it?
When I was hit, I was turning to my right, and then I had a tremendous pressure, pain to the right side of my head, and my vision just closed up like an old TV. It just my vision closed right in, and I fell, and that's when I did a lot of damage to the top of my head. But I think when I hit the ground, it woke me up because I rolled over on my back on my own. I was wiping blood out of my eye, and a good buddy jumps down to help me, and he's saying, don't move. And I could see I think now I'm looking at him in my mind and the fear in his eyes and looking at me. And I said, hey, I got hit in the back of the head. And he says, don't move. The paramedics are coming. And it wasn't until in the ambulance when they were discussing and, working on me saying, we have an entrance wound. And they're working on an entrance wound. And I'm saying, geez. And they said, we have an exit wound. I said, I got shot? They said, yeah. So I was awake and coherent for everything.
You didn't realize that until you were in the ambulance that you had been
didn't know.
shot.
I never heard a gunshot wound.
Wow.
And then I find out later, there were two gunshots. One I received, and another's divine intervention took that bullet to no target. But I found out, the first messages that were going out was, Jeff, he got shot twice in the head and he was dead. And this was within minutes of the incident happening. So I started thinking about that stuff. And, we got these young adults that love this drama. They're watching this fight. Half that crowd was spectators.
Yeah.
But when we have adults now, when we start taking out the social media and we look at the text messages and things like that, I think as a society, we're as adults are looking at this as some kind of exciting new,
First one to tell somebody.
I was in the know. You got to be in the know.
Yeah. And wow. I said yesterday, I asked a question I've been asking for a couple of days, and everybody could have their own version of it. But what kind of impact does one bullet have? One bullet.
Yeah.
So if we take this one bullet, I took the physical devastation of it. My family took the emotional devastation.
Yeah.
And then friends and colleagues and just people, and then the people that don't even know me.
Yeah.
That just witness the videos and they're reaching out, And a lot of them, I have a lot that come to see me, and I read faces, I look at them, And I can see they're coming to see me to give me their support, but it's also the healing that they need. They needed to see me for them to feel better.
One bullet, right? Wow. His approach to this is unbelievable, right? The fact that he's trying to take this terrible thing that happened and turn it into something positive. You got to appreciate that. Well, break. Coming up, Bob Cardillo is in studio. John Decker later on this morning. Cardillo, of course, running for mayor of Utica. And we'll get his take on all of this and what Jeff went through coming up here.
Also, we've got your code. I'll give it to you right now. I apologize. I omitted it from the 8 a.m. news. Those of you looking to win some Keeler cash, your 8 a.m. code is 836. 836, again, that is the 3-digit code. Don't send it to us in an app message. Send it to us via the WIBX. Don't send it to us. Enter it at WIBX950.com. We have other comments to get to here as well this morning. Lance and Lee chiming in. We've got some comments on Merrick Garland and a couple of anniversaries. Your parents celebrating an anniversary. A couple of others that we will congratulate coming up here in just a few minutes.
All right, let's do those things coming up next. Stand by. We'll get right to it. Brank Construction. If you need concrete, it's Brank. Rocco and David Brank, family-owned and operated business down in the valley, and boy, they do a tremendous job on masonry work. It's what they do. Concrete driveways, sidewalks, old stone walls, old block walls can be repaired and redone. Chimney work, stairways, cellarway, basement floors, garage floors, and even retaining walls. If it has to do with masonry and concrete, there is no one better. Call Brank Construction today at 315-894-3481. Rocco and David Brank. Brank Construction, 315-894-3481.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, Trying to find a needle in a haystack? Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
At Consumer Cellular, you get the same exact coverage as the largest carriers, but for up to half the cost. Same thing, up to half the cost. Up to half the cost for the same thing. 50% the money for 100% the same thing. I hope I'm making myself clear. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single-line 5GB data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single-line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
Hun, we need to stop putting off getting life insurance.
I know. It's just been so busy, and I'm sure the cost is out of our budget.
Well, Jen told me that they got a $500,000 term life insurance policy from Ethos for less than $23 a month. All online with no complicated forms and no medical exam. All they had to do was answer a few health questions.
Wait, no medical exam and all online?
I know, right? It's not easy to think about, but if something happened to you, James and I would be...
Okay, I get it. Let's get a quote from Ethos right now. Wow, you were right. There's no medical exam. And Ethos makes the whole online process fast and easy. And look at these rates and coverage options. It's great protection and totally fits our budget.
Ethos. They've removed all the barriers from getting coverage. Go to checkethos.com to get your free online quote. That's checkethos.com. Quote based on a healthy, non-smoking 30-year-old male with a 20-year term policy. Rates may vary.
Do you have over $10,000 in credit card debt? If you're feeling the financial impact with unprecedented economic challenges, Debt Blue is here for you. With Debt Blue's Success Guarantee, you pay nothing unless your debt is reduced or completely resolved.
I'm just living sky high right now. I'm very thankful for it, and the team at Debt Blue are phenomenal. They're able to work with you. They're great.
Call for your free debt resolution information now. 800-200-6895. 800-200-6895.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, it's 8:31. Coming in studio in a second, Bob Cardillo. I have people sending me the memes on the missing jet. There's some really funny. You can come in, Bob, over here. There are some really good ones out there. Have you seen any of them?
No, actually, I have not.
They're like missing posters. You know how with a garage sale or somebody's selling a car, it's like a regular sheet of paper and it has the information. At the bottom, they've cut the little things where you can tear off the little like a phone number or something.
Yeah.
There's one of those here, like, have you seen this plane? And there's a picture of the plane there, and people are like, I have now. And then, but my favorite is a picture of the jet and a picture of Aaron Rodgers being helped off the field in a Jets uniform, and the headline, "Tough few weeks for losing expensive jets." I love it.
That is well done.
Now, in South Carolina, where ultimately the jet was found, that F-35 stealth fighter jet that the Marines lost, there's an eyewitness who lives over in that area, Randolph White, who heard the jet as it went down. And he gave this interview with WBTW TV in Myrtle Beach.
I was in the bathroom taking a shave, and I heard a screeching, between a screech and a whistle. I said, what in the world is this? And I heard a boom. Then my whole house shook. Did a meteorite come out of space or something? And I said, well, if the airplane, it needed to be reported. That thing was flying just too low. choppers keep flying around. I said, well, somebody must have robbed the bank or whatever. Just through the grace of God, nobody didn't get hurt. Anything man-made can malfunction. But it needs to be investigated, and the public need to know what really happened. It could have been a major disaster.
You know, we were talking earlier as our Hobica free money question where, you know, it was a commercial that became a hit. The Coca-Cola commercial. People were requesting the radio stations play the commercial. So the record company, or Coca-Cola, they released it as a song. And then I'd Like to Teach the World to Sing became a hit. Hit number 13 on Billboard's charts. This is basically a news clip that people are calling up the TV station and saying, could you play it again? And maybe turn it into a song. What if it was a song? Here's what we came up with. Here we go. How about Taylor Swift?
Trouble.
Kind of like it. Well, there you go.
I mean, my man hit the high note. Some comments here via the app, and we'll start with Ralph in PA, who said, Bill, they actually found that fighter jet. It was in a bathroom at Mar-a-Lago. That's where they located it. That's a good one. Catching up on some comments here. This was about the testimony yesterday from Merrick Garland. Fred says, Merrick Garland hearing, you should listen to the lecture that Representative Victoria Spartz, a Republican from Indiana, gave Garland yesterday. She emigrated to the U.S. from Ukraine. I didn't catch that, but I'll go listen to it. Phil in Frankfurt thinks Bill is talking crazy again with the comments that you made about Merrick Garland. I agreed with many of them.
Well, listen, take it how you like, whatever.
Chris in Alien says, Bill, you need to see this if you have not. I saw Elon Musk's Starlink traveling through the sky last night. Wasn't aware of it, but my neighbor witnessed it as well and told me what it was. It looked like a necklace of stars traveling in a line from west to east. It's an awesome sight. You have to see it and talk about it.
Do they have a video of it? Or have I got to look?
There is video online that you can find, but it does. It just kind of looks like a necklace in the sky. This is the site that many people up, what's the lake? There was a lake maybe northwest of here. I can't think of what it is. It's north of here. It connects with Canada. Anyway, people on the lake, many people on the boat were reporting there's a UFO in the sky. We see all these lights.
Yeah.
Turns out
the Great Lakes. Connecting with Canada.
Oh, forgive me. I apologize. I'll come up with it. You talked about...
Is it Lake Lackawanna?
No.
Winnipesaukee.
Oh, boy.
You know, the
It's
legend
just
lives
before-
on. Sorry, I was doing a little Engelbert. No, is that? Yeah, no, that was Gordon Lightfoot.
If you go maybe toward Watertown by Canada, I can't think of what it is.
Anyway.
I'll look it up, yeah. So there were several sightings, and it was coming in as a UFO. It turns out it was the Starlink. Apparently, you can see it from many places, especially when it's clear at night like it was last night.
So I have some. Ed said, I saw Starlink over in Idle Lake a couple of weeks ago. It was really, really cool. Yeah, that's wild. Good stuff, Ed.
John in Bridgewater, congratulations to John and Mrs. John. They are celebrating 40 years, as John calls it, blissful reunion. I think he means blissful union.
Something about September. Our wedding anniversary was the beginning of September, 25 years. My parents' wedding anniversary is today, 60 years. And my son's birthday is tomorrow, 30. He'll be 30 years old. Boy, am I feeling old.
Oh, wait till one of them turns 40.
Oh, boy. Can't even think about it.
Kevin in Utica says this is his favorite day of the year, not just the 21st, the night of September. That's the Earth, Wind, and Fire Day. Of course, they're popularized in the song. But Kevin says he and his wife, Monica, are celebrating 22 years of marriage today. Congratulations to you both. Lee in Oriskany says, Davey hung up on me several times this morning. I kept trying to get in for the free money question. I thought for sure I knew what the answer was, but as it turned out, Lee did not know what the answer was.
I'd like to teach the world to win. Hobica's money. No. Sorry about that.
Got some She thought it was, excuse me,
Yet another embarrassing moment on this program.
No, that was fine. It was great, Bill.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure it was.
Lee thought the question was going to be tied to what was the app that you used that you talked about this morning. That was not the question.
I got to say, I'll talk about this. I talked very earlier this morning about it. So around midnight, and we get a phone call from an out of area code call. And I wake up and I ask my wife. She said it's just spam. I'm like, at midnight? And then the same number called my phone. So I picked it up, and it was the app that we use. My son was in a car accident last night. And he is okay. Everything's good. There were no injuries, at least to him. I don't know the whole story, but we use this app, Life 360, and people say, well, you're invading your children's privacy. Here's the thing. They're on my parents are on this app. We're on it, my wife and I, my daughter, my son, and they can see us too. So it's like if, as I joked earlier, my daughter calling my wife saying, I see Dad's back at the casino. You can see these things, but I got to tell you, there was an impact in the car last night, and this app immediately, their algorithm caught it, called us and said, your son was in a car accident. Wow, isn't that unbelievable?
Yeah,
and we called him, and, sure enough, he was okay. But, had we not been able to reach him, we would have been getting in the car because the map on this app shows exactly where they are.
Well, that's one of the great things about technology.
It certainly is.
I mean, technology has its assets, and it also has its liabilities.
No doubt about it.
But that's one of the good ones.
One of the good ones.
Sure.
Yep. I really think it's worth getting that app, Life 360.
And I told Lee, keep listening because you will win at some point, and good luck. She said, I'm determined to win that big money in honor of my mother. She listened to your show every morning, and she got me hooked on it. And the final comment here comes from Lance in Lee. And this is our segue into our conversation with Bob Cardillo.
I'm going to throw some comments in here,
Go
too.
ahead, sure.
But you want to save that one?
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Dana. Dave and I both have the app. Love it. I feel better when he's at work. He's a state trooper. And it allows her to keep an eye on things. He does the same. The same with her,
line
right?
of work, for sure.
With that line of work. Donna, we have the same app. We love it. Larry, is Jeff thinking of Alexandria Bay?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Larry, you're always the one to be able to
Bay.
Finish our thoughts, and we appreciate that. Hear anything about mold at the new hospital? I've not heard that, but we'll ask about it. Ed said the lake that he saw, the Starlink, was Oneida Lake. A real nice, passive, quiet night. Skies were clear, and he was able to see it. Pretty cool. Megan says that guy screaming sounds like the opening to a Van Halen song, Jump.
And he hit the high note. I could not do that.
If I could mix it on the fly, I would. I can't, but I think you're absolutely right. Good stuff. With that, one more comment.
Yes, Lance and Lee says, checking out Samantha's Facebook page, she seems to be hammering Celeste. Is she Mike Galimi's attack dog? Is Mike not man enough to voice his own concerns? Seems like high school BS to me. Now, I didn't initially read
Lance apparently doesn't know her.
Yeah.
She doesn't care, quite frankly.
No. Pull that mic close. You have to make it really close. Bob.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that better?
Yes.
Now,
we're having massive mic problems.
I didn't immediately read Lance's comment, and he said, maybe I must be on restriction since someone called me obtuse. I told him that wasn't the case, so he followed up to say, Mr. Cardillo seems to be able to defend his ideals with no issue. He seems to be able to point out his issues with the other candidates without needing a mouthpiece, like Mr. Galimi seems to have a few. That says a lot to me. So those are some comments from Lance.
With that said, Bob Cardillo is in studio right now, the conservative candidate. You did take some heat from the city chair in Utica yesterday, who was quite critical, saying you shouldn't have been at the debate and you should have stepped out of the race, and that the Conservative Party asked you to, and you did not do that. How do you respond to him?
There we go again. I'm not going to respond to it, Bill.
Okay.
I've already responded to it. Let's just have a race for mayor. I was on the stage with the other two candidates. It gives the people in Utica an opportunity for a choice.
Okay.
So I'm not going to respond.
Were
to that.
you?
Let's go win the race.
Were you? Can I ask? Somebody told me that So this was run by the Sentinel and the
Sentinel and the Chamber,
the Greater
Right.
Utica Chamber of Commerce.
Which, by the way, I think they did a great job.
They did a great job. I thought it was a very peaceful. There was no yelling or
yes.
craziness in this. Although I always wish for that.
I know you do.
But
Come on, Bill.
But with that said, I was told you guys got the questions in advance.
No, not true.
You did not.
No, here's what we received. We received, first of all, it was 90 seconds per question.
Yeah.
90 seconds per each opening and each close. If we invoked the other person's name, you got 30 seconds to rebut. But nobody invoked anybody's name.
I like that. I like that punishment.
It was very
almost.
good. It was very
because
good.
Because if you're going to go and attack your opponent,
right,
your opponent should be able to
come back.
Yeah.
And nobody attacked anybody. So
nobody did.
Which I think it's
I
a
was
strategy.
I was yelling at my
I know
TV.
you were. I know you were.
Boring. Where's the action?
Actually, I was thinking about that when I was on the stage. I said, Keeler must be out of his mind
This
right
is
now.
way
there's
too
no fight.
well behaved.
Yes. But I think what it does is it gives people an opportunity to look at the candidates, not just what you say, but how you say it, posture. It really gives people the opportunity to look at them and say, who's the person who's the best person to be mayor, and I think call it mayoral, if you will. So I thought it was a good debate. They did a great job.
Let me ask you, who now obviously you feel you won the debate.
I feel like I did well.
Okay, you did well, and I would agree with that. Who did well, who did not? Rate your opponents.
I don't like to critique my opponents because I don't think it's fair. Look, I was focused on doing my job.
You were.
I prepared. Yeah. I did my job. I wanted to put my best foot forward. So, I think we all, first of all, to get up there for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
That's quite a long debate.
Sure it is.
With no break in between, really. It had a 30-second break.
Yeah.
Sip a little water. But
hold on. Text message from Joe Biden. You're telling me.
Joe Biden.
Sorry.
Yeah. I don't think he can make 15 minutes.
I don't know that he's going 90. That's for darn sure.
So anyway, I think everybody did a good job. I think we put our best foot forward.
I did find that I think everybody had good answers. And the other thing I found interesting, for the most part, all of your answers were very, very similar. I mean, all three candidates seemed to have a one agreement. I mean, I think you had made one reference about either agreeing or disagreeing, but for the most part, you guys agreed, it seemed.
I think it was when I talked about spending money for the dog park, which I think is great, but we could have taken $50,000 and put that into Herd Park.
That was the one moment I felt that was an outlying moment where one of the candidates was somewhat critical, and I agree with you on this. I mean, I love the idea of dog park. The whole thing, that whole concept, I think is important, right? However, we have so many more things that are more important. You mentioned a park that has gone unnoticed.
We were there in April.
Yeah,
and there were all kinds of. It was terrible. Now they've cleaned it up a little bit.
Yeah.
However, they're pouring concrete now, which is I don't know why they're pouring it now. They should have poured it 3 months ago. And the syringes are still there. That's what bothers me. These are where kids play.
Yeah.
Our children play there. It's and this is in an area which is in more of a blighted area.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the areas we should concentrate on.
Well, I understand. Dog park is awesome. However,
yes, absolutely.
However, you have areas, James Street is a disaster.
Terrible.
West Utica is horrific.
West Utica is really kind of like the new Cornhill.
It's Cornhill, what it used to be, and then some.
We had a meeting the other day, a school board meeting, and we were talking about the road that goes to the.
Yeah.
And Joe mentioned this, and he's absolutely right. The road coming to the school, it's like a battle zone.
Yeah.
It's in the other day as I was driving, I see a young man on one of those four-wheelers. Now they're not licensed. He's on the street, and actually a cop went by him, and I'm like, geez, let me see if he turns around. He didn't turn around.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I have a story that when I was a kid, my father lost his driver's license because he drove a motorcycle that was not plated across the street. Drove it from one side in a rural area, and it just so happened there was a state trooper there, and he lost his license. Today, I don't know, you seem to be able to drive down on one of those four-wheelers, not licensed, anywhere, and nobody's going to do anything about it.
Actually, it's a good way to save fuel.
I guess it is. I guess it is. All right, Manaski.
You had started to say, I think, when Bill asked if you were provided questions in advance. Were you going to say they gave you topics?
They gave us topics. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes, they did give us topics, and quite frankly, one of the topics that I was waiting, and they didn't ask, was roads and infrastructure. But they didn't. But they went a lot. Well, look at public safety. Obviously, is number one.
Yep.
I mean, I've been bringing that up since I started this campaign November of last year.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been talking about crime, and I'm going to continue to do it. Because of those reasons I've given before, it affects everything, especially economic development. So
we had Jeff Lynch on this week, and we just played part of that interview. Really incredible that he describes what happened to him. He's out and talking, trying to make this into something, turn a very, very horrible negative into a positive.
Yes, and I applaud him for it. I think it's a great thing, and I think one of the things we have to be is just recognize it's a problem.
Yeah,
not push it under the rug. Recognize it's a problem.
Okay.
So,
speaking of the school board, obviously, if you were to become mayor, you would step down from the school board.
Yes, I mean it was the appropriate thing to do.
And will you run again for another term?
Let's see. I mean, I still have. I'm hoping that I don't have to make that decision.
Yes,
to run
I understand.
For mayor,
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, it's
Okay.
a long time between now and next May.
Is there anything during that debate that you would look to your opponents, and then this is not critiquing your opponents,
No.
basically saying, one of them said this, and I don't agree with it?
The only thing I would say is this. I'm the only person on that dais who's not been on the Common Council, who's not been in positions where I could have made a difference.
Yeah.
Celeste has been on the council for, 4 years plus, I think 2. Mike's been president of Common Council for 8 years.
Yeah.
And they keep talking about that's their experience, but yet over that period of time, what have you really accomplished? I know Mike's on the board of E&A, and he talks about that, which is great. But, I'm the only one on that dais that's done development.
Yeah,
I heard Mike
yeah.
say something about he did development, and I don't know what development it is. If it's with Keysight, I'm not so sure. But, that I believe that I bring to the table a wealth of experience that I can do this job on day one. So, I mean, that's what I can really say.
All right. Bob Cardillo, one more?
Yeah, I just, and this is in regard to your position with the school board, I have read that there's a challenge to the contract of Bruce Karam, some of the previously approved contract or the add-ons. Can you describe what your understanding of that is? There a lawsuit without getting into details?
I can't really do the detail. All I can tell you is that they're bringing an action to the court to have the state court again look at the contract. So beyond that, there's not much more I can say.
Have you
did you voted to approve that contract? Obviously, a majority of the board did at one point.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we did, and then I also voted to approve to move forward, with this other lawsuit now. So.
And I understand that you're longtime friends with Bruce Karam, but after all of this has come out and further information has come out, you've heard more stuff. Have you changed your opinion on his behavior?
Well, I did. I said that before.
Yeah.
I said, he's my friend, and I'm not going to say he's not. I mean, our families have been close since I was a baby. For God's sakes, his mother held me in her arms. But look, I've talked to him about his behavior. I acknowledge your behavior, and that's all I can really say. I mean, I've voted differently, if you will. So
looks like there might.
Can I tell a cute little story?
Yes, and then
a campaign
I have
story.
John Decker waiting.
I'm wearing something.
Yes, I wanted to mention this. Yes,
Team Utica.
Vote Bob Cardillo for mayor. Experience, knowledge, and passion for Utica, #1. Yeah, Bob is in here this morning in all red. He's got a Team
in the
Utica
hat.
shirt and a matching hat on. I like
There's
that.
a story behind this, which, campaigns are difficult. We have people saying stuff about people and blah, blah, blah. Well, this has got to be the nicest thing that's ever happened to me.
Okay.
Yesterday, my doorbell rings, and this fellow's at my door. It's a big guy, and he's got a box with him, and his name is Fernando. I don't want to say his last name. His name is Fernando, and he said, "This is for you. Our baseball team is wearing these shirts and these hats, and this hat is a beautiful hat.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's a softball team that travels. They're Utica team.
Okay.
He's Latino, so I believe they're all Latinos. So I brought him. I said, "No, you come into my house." So he came in the house. He's got this big box. Gives me this shirt with #1 on it. This is for you. The team's going to wear these
All
shirts
right.
and hats.
Wow.
We're going to Massachusetts this weekend. So I said, "How do you know me?" "The signs." And then we started listening to you. "We like you. You're a nice man. You have a nice smile."
And they made
We
you
want
that.
to be the
And
mayor.
are they
I got-
wearing the Bob Cardillo part on the back?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
He's got.
Wow.
Bob
You
Cardillo
have
on
your
all
own
the shirts.
official softball team now.
I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, I was almost in tears. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a very humbling thing for and I didn't know him. It's not like, so then he says, "Well, what else can I do?" So I gave him brochures. I gave him signs. He says, "We're going to promote you. We like you.
Wow.
We're sorry we couldn't come to the debate last night because we were practicing." I'm like, I couldn't help
That's
myself.
really cool.
I think it's a great story.
This
and
is-
all the tough campaign stuff that goes on.
You have something like that.
My God, you have
Yeah.
something like that happens. That's why you do this.
No doubt
That's
about
exactly
it.
why
Do you know where
do
that stuff came from? I mean, who made it?
It's somebody on Broad Street.
Okay.
Some company, sports
Team
something on
Utica.
Broad Street.
Very
Okay.
nice. All right,
Yeah.
Bob. Great,
Thank you, guys.
great little souvenir right there.
Thank you. Yeah,
All right,
really.
Cool.
Really. Thank you very much. Thank
Bob,
you.
Bob Cardillo running as a conservative for mayor of Utica. John Decker is the chief White House correspondent with Great TV, and John is on the line right now. Good morning, John Decker.
Hey, good morning to you, Bill. Hope you're doing well and having a good week so far.
We are, and boy, I'm not sure Mr. Garland can say the same thing. That was contentious yesterday. Your take on it?
Yeah, good way to describe it. I don't think that it moved the needle one way or the other for either political party. We heard a lot of lawyerly answers, not surprisingly, from the Attorney General of the United States. Still no clear answer as to why there was such a change of heart as far as Merrick Garland is concerned from July to August when he ultimately named David Weiss as the special counsel to investigate Hunter Biden. He said, "Look, it's an ongoing investigation, and I can't answer that question." So it was very frustrating for Republicans yesterday trying to get some answers to their questions.
So your take on the special counsel, appointing him, yet he's the same one who put this deal together for Hunter Biden. That's what Republicans seem to be up in arms with. What's your take? What's your take on that?
Well, look, you had a number of Republicans who had signed on to a letter. The letter was from September the 19th of last year, September the 19th of 2022, so almost exactly 1 year ago today. And they requested, I'm going to read you the first line of their letter.
Yeah.
It was addressed to Merrick Garland. It says, "We, the undersigned, write to request that U.S. Attorney David Weiss be extended special counsel protections and authorities to conduct the Hunter Biden investigation." And it's signed by some of the people who are criticizing that decision right now. Josh Hawley signed it. Tom Cotton signed it. Rick Scott signed it. Ron Johnson signed it. These are the people who are criticizing David Weiss right now. And I don't know, for their change of heart, you'd have to ask them why they have a different sense of why it is that David Weiss cannot handle this particular investigation.
All right. Another topic, President Biden meeting with Zelensky. What's...
Yeah, it happens this afternoon, 3 o'clock in the Oval Office. It's a busy day for President Zelensky of Ukraine because he'll be traveling to meet with the defense secretary over at the Pentagon. He'll be meeting with congressional leaders from both political parties, including Kevin McCarthy, the House Speaker. And then 3 o'clock in the afternoon, he'll be meeting in the Oval Office with President Biden. big reason for his visit to Washington, trying to get Congress to go along with supporting that $24 billion aid package for Ukraine. It's been languishing in Congress, and he's going to make the case, about why the time is right now to support that new aid package. So that is the reason why he traveled down from New York down to Washington, D.C. for this one-day visit.
And then, I keep hearing it's not if, it's when, and for how long a government shutdown. Are we headed there?
I think we are. Yeah, unfortunately, I hope I'm wrong, but I do think we're heading there, and the reason being is because Kevin McCarthy has a very difficult task. He's got a very narrow majority. There are about a dozen House Republicans, the same ones that ultimately came along and voted for him for Speaker, but were reluctant in 15 rounds of voting. They're the ones putting pressure on Kevin McCarthy. They're the ones that see no problem with the government shutdown. And I think that because he can't get all the factions of his party on the same page, I think that we are headed for a government shutdown, and it could last for a few weeks. And it would impact, just so we understand, it would impact Social Security recipients, veterans receiving their veterans benefits. So real-life implications if indeed there's a government shutdown.
One quickie?
Yeah, follow up on the Bidens. The multiple state dinners that Hunter has attended, including a pair recently, I think this summer. I know one was for the Prime Minister of India at the White House. I know that question came up to Merrick Garland yesterday. Do you find it odd, if not odd, foolish? Why, if it's found he's guilty, why is Joe Biden parading him around still?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a head scratcher, and I understand why Merrick Garland is not one to answer that particular question. That's a question that really should be posed to the White House press secretary, more so than Merrick Garland. But yeah, it's a head scratcher. Here's a person who now has been, at the time he wasn't, but now he's been indicted, for federal criminal charges. That kind of person. Anyone else, the White House as well, I don't think we should invite this person to a state dinner.
Right.
I understand he's the son of the president, but not a good look, not good optics.
Listen, there came a time, John, when Jimmy Carter said, "Stop inviting Billy to the parties."
Right.
Right?
I
mean, he's still my brother, but he doesn't need to be in the photo ops.
I mean, we can do private stuff, but no more public stuff. So. John Decker.
I agree with you on that.
As always, thank you. We'll speak again next week. Have a great week.
Thanks a lot, Bill. Have a good weekend. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Thanks. John Decker, Chief White House Correspondent with Cray TV. The official coffee of this radio program is Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. And guess what is back? It's the pumpkin lattes. And that drive-through is so key. You are in, you're ordered, you pick up, and you drive away. It's a fast drive-through. Lightning fast every step of the way at Daylight Donuts in the village of New Hartford. We're back here. What do you want me to do?
Just one more thing. I'm going to give the 9 a.m. code here. I got to slide a couple spots. So your 9 a.m. code to win Keeler's cash, enter it at WIBX950.com. The 9 a.m. code 240-240. Have a great day.
240-240.
No, I'm sorry, 240. It's a 3-digit code.
That's what I mean. I was saying it twice.
Sorry.
That number again, 240-240. And we're back tomorrow.
GMC continues its commitment to professional-grade engineering in Sierra. GMC, we are professional grade. GMC well-qualified buyers step up to GMC with 0.9% APR for 36 months on 2023 Sierra light-duty models. Visit Matt Naimi GMC right on New York 12 in Boonville or online at mattnaimigmc.com. Driving forward together. Monthly payment is $28.16 for every $1,000 you finance. Average example down payment, 16.9%. Some customers will not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 10/2/2023.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Rome, W295DI Utica Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
Are you putting your retirement savings in a 401k or IRA? Then I have one word of advice. Stop. You've been lied to by the Wall Street fat cats who get paid whether you win or lose. They say risk your life savings in the stock market, but studies show people who follow that advice will outlive their savings by a staggering 10 years. They say max out your contributions to 401ks, but the man who invented the 401k now says it's a monster that should be destroyed. They say defer paying your taxes to retire in a lower tax bracket, but retirees who fell for that lie are paying higher taxes than ever. Now get a free report exposing the wealth-killing lies you've been told. and discover the proven retirement plan alternative Wall Street fat cats hope you never hear about. You can get guaranteed competitive growth every year and tax-free retirement income. Get your free report now at bankonyourself.com/protect. That's bankonyourself.com/protect. bankonyourself.com/protect.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology